we had more viewers when I was smaller on YouTube, right, than we had on Twitch. But that just could be because the game was more exciting back then, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So I'm playing the field, man. I'm trying to fill out. Alright, let's see what's going on here now. But if we get a lot more viewership on YouTube than Twitch, then I probably will transition back. Because to tell you the truth, I'm not very happy with Twitch taking 50% of my cut of what little money I make, right? Yeah, last month they took $150 from me, and that got me mad, dude. That got me mad.
To me, creatures of death.
Alright, is this?
I win again.
The light returns.
In a flash, victory will be ours.
You cannot run from your demons.
Let's show these bad guys who's boss.
Time to take care of business.
Okay, looks like it's better now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Smite
Alright.
Update show, this time for the season of celebration. My name is Titan Dandy, and I'm joined here by two other amazing people from the Smite community, or from the Smite team.
You guys hear okay?
Clumsy and Aggro. I almost said Learn. You almost got me.
Yeah, you almost. We were memeing about
I
it.
had all their names written down, and he was like, hey, remember, there's only two of us right here. So he tripped me up, so I'm ruined.
He does that
Either
all the
way,
time.
welcome to the show. Super excited for the season of celebration. As is the theme, we have so many cool things to celebrate, as has been all of year 10. And we're excited to kick it off. But first, I do have to tell you, usually I'd be all like, check out the update notes, like follow us along. But the update notes aren't going to be up right now because they're kind of mad at us. It's just the website's being strange. We'll get it up as soon as we can. You know, keep your eye out. There'll be a tweet that goes out about it. But for the time being, this is going to be your one-stop shop for all the information about the update coming up literally next week. So we're going to start off by talking about just a few little community news things. I like to kick it off with the news, like to talk with y'all, tell y'all what's up. Starting with the Salt Tournament. That is this weekend and the first weekend of September, so like September 2nd. So tune in over the next couple weekends for some awesome content to get more of that really cool esports stuff going on. So we had the really awesome Roll Stars thing that just finished. That was super fun to watch. I was loving every bit of it, and I'm excited for more as we go through the next couple weeks. Another thing I wanted to tell y'all about is, I don't know if y'all saw the tweet, but we have a Scylla plushie now. It is very angry looking and also very adorable and available now. So make sure to check that out. I just look at it. I absolutely love it.
It's so good.
So another beautiful addition to the Smite plushie
Dude, they're working
collection.
hard to try to make
Right
that-
next to my
that
Ymir
money,
and my
baby.
Danza. So I don't have to
They're
pick one.
hustling.
It wasn't that cool. But super excited. Make sure
Yeah,
to check
some
it out.
plushies now.
One last little note is
Funny thing is,
esports
Nightwing
related
would
stuff.
probably love
We
one of
actually
those.
have Phase 2 kicking off September 8th. So we have a little while. It's not, this
Nice.
weekend. Like I said, we have the Salt Tournament coming up. But keep your eyes on esports for Phase 2 coming up quicker than you'd think. So every time you read a date in the future, you're like, oh, that's a few weeks off. But the time will fly, and we will be back in the action. Looking forward to it. Next up, celebration event. You know, this is the season of celebration. It's something that has happened before, but for those who aren't familiar with it, the celebration event is just us celebrating
What's up,
Smite
Emma?
and the beautiful community we love by giving y'all free stuff.
You guys
So,
notice I
starting
implemented a
with the
new viewer
update,
point
you can
system
play
into
one match
YouTube, man.
every
You
day
guys are
for
getting
2
points
weeks,
as
and
you
you will
can
be able
see.
to claim free rewards. It's that simple. Just hop in, play a game of Smite, earn your reward for the day. There is only one reward per day, and they persist only for that day. So if you see something you want on the cool calendar spin wheel, make sure you hop in and log in on that day to get it, because if you miss it, it's gone. And another cool thing about this is if you claim 6 prizes, we give you an
I'm gonna have
extra
to see
prize.
what's
It's
on
like
that
a prize
spin
for
wheel so I
earning
know
prizes.
for
We
sure
love to give away things.
where to
And that would be
in,
actually a
right?
skin called Ebon Knight Lancelot. Let's take a look at the card art.
Ooh, that's nice.
That is badass.
I
That
like
is
that.
Incredible.
The red eye on the horse is
That black and gold looks nice.
It's an angry horse. So, but again, absolutely free, and all you have to do to win this is earn 6 of the prizes from throughout the celebration event, which is literally just play 6 games of Smite over 6 different days. So, you know, we like to make it nice and easy for these, because who wants to stress about celebrating? So again, 2 weeks worth of prizes, and all you got to do is play. Love it. So among the many things we're going to talk about today, we have a brand new map style. And we've teased it a
they
little
will
bit. Y'all
announce
seen it
the
throughout our
removal
Twitter
of the
posts
bonus
and some
round?
of the
I hope
videos
so,
we've
dude.
released.
I
But
really
we
do.
Really
I
want
really
to get
do.
in depth with it, starting with this trailer here. So see you in a second.
Does the trailer have any sound? Does the trailer have any sound? I think their sound guy screwed up. There you go. Unmute, baby. Unmute. Yeah, remove the bonus round, please. For real, right? Now, if you're just joining us, if you want to start your viewer points, say hi in the chat. You have to type something in the chat in order to start your bank for viewer points. I implemented a new viewer point system that I'm alpha testing right now. This has nothing to do with YouTube. I'm doing this from my computer system. So you have to at least say hi or something if you want to get viewer points
that little glimpse into the map, and we're going to be taking a much deeper dive. But first, let's kind of talk about what people can expect. So we're in the season of celebration, obviously a new season. The map is getting some changes. So what do you think people can look forward to?
Well, with this season, we've got the map lifting back out of the underworld and into the light. So I think that's one really big component of it is just, we're going to be having the brand new lighting, the skybox. We're going to have the uplifted spirits where we get now to fight back out of the darkness and into the light. And I think, raining into the end of the year with kind of this lighter mood is going to be a really big difference. I think our players are really excited for that.
Yeah, when we get to do the dark, spooky maps, it's really fun. It's a nice little change of pace. But I think everyone always gets excited when we get to these really bright, big open maps where it feels like
you don't have to link nothing.
On top of the
you already got
Olympus that we've done before,
I
just coming out of the underworld here with this map.
Exclamation point.
I think it
type
looks
this right here.
gorgeous.
Exclamation.
Awesome. Well, I mean,
points.
Nothing that we can really say would be as good as being able to get in and see it. So as we talk,
where
how
the
about
hell
we
did I
hop
type
in and look around the map a little bit?
Yeah, these seasonal changes are always just like a testament to the work of the environment teams. It's always
type
really
that, and you'll be able to see how many points you already accumulated.
Mood boarding to what they actually get into the game and the set dressing. They put a lot of love and care.
I can't get points because I'm
the
head guy. But you guys should be able to. If you type I points like that, it'll show you how many you get in your bank.
These little potions and bottles and trinkets. The canopy above you is changing.
I programmed it. There you go. You got 1,000 points. So in order to get 1,000 points, you have to say something at least in the chat for the very first time, right? That way the computer learns you, because all these point system is coming from my computer. My computer is the one running this, not YouTube, not Twitch. This is not some third-party thing. I programmed this myself. So in order for my computer to identify you, you have to say something in the chat, and as soon as you say something in the chat, it saves your name, and then it'll start saving your points. Every 10 minutes, as long as you say something in the chat, it'll give you another 20 points, another 20 points accumulated. And that's how it keeps tallying who's in the chat.
To kind of just this broad new area. There's actually a little corridor here that you can kind of
exactly. They're Smite points. I mean, they're viewer points, not Smite points.
There's going to be a lot more opportunities to kind of get in there and fight and flee if you need to.
It's been
you can't get viewer points on YouTube
during play tests around these fire giant.
If you want to get viewer points on YouTube,
many angles of attack
at the same time,
from
just
mean that getting in there and
Twitch,
causing some havoc out of nowhere
on
a fire giant fight is really, really easy. But
somebody
also
that's doing viewer point on Twitch and then just
really interesting
mute it and then come back to our stream.
Traps on enemy teams who are coming in to stop them from fire giant. So
I can't multi-stream because I'm an affiliate with Twitch, so I can't multi-stream.
The culmination of a long match, and where a lot of matches are decided. So any amount of change over here ends up making a really big impact.
And usually our update videos streams are like the smallest.
Enjoy this
so
slight
I thought this was a perfect
to
time
the layout
to
that will change the dynamic of those fights a little bit.
Yeah, even some of the
they're just talking about conquest
around the fire giant pit, not just within it itself has changed. You'll just see some like.
But yeah, UK Paul's correct. They're channel points, like to do the little memes and stuff, to do stuff, like this.
Also, pyromancer.
Now the codes for this are in the description of this stream.
It's small things like
so go to the description of the stream and it'll list out all the codes that you can use.
Especially when you're contesting over these
and how many points it's going to cost you.
Get a different kind of view and layout of the enemy side of the jungle.
Yeah, a little bit easier to make sure that enemy mid laners are
just
tossing one ability over the wall.
I'm about 85% done with it. I'm still fixing Twitch.
It forces them to commit a little bit more in order to come in and contest.
Yeah, that's incredible.
But nobody else on YouTube is using this. No other Smite streamer has this.
It's not only the aesthetics.
Not that many people are streaming on YouTube anyway, right?
There's layout changes. Your usual path might have a rock in the way that you didn't expect.
But that's what I've been working on the last few weeks.
No longer can you just set up Umoja wall and block off an entire side from the
like
enemy.
I said, it still has the infancy. I still got a lot of ideas for this.
And it opens up these more options for combating and doing these team fights and how you're going to play that out. And I'm really excited to do it myself, but to also see other people get their hands on it and see what kind of crazy strats they come up with. So, you mentioned the Shaman Camp earlier. Let's talk about that. What is the Shaman Camp?
Yeah, so after that initial Harpy Camp that we saw earlier, and we can get into why it's that rotation as well later on.
Okay.
But the next 5 rotations of that camp will be the new Shaman Camp. So there's going to be a Shaman leader.
Now, as you can see, there's no chat on the top yet. I still got to figure out how to do that with YouTube.
Camps.
Yeah.
And once
hey, David, what's up, brother?
They'll empower new spirit totems. You got to get the invader out of the way here.
Yeah, true.
He's trying to stop that, which in fact is actually a thing. If you are trying to invade into the enemy's camp or you're getting invaded and you try and kill the Shaman leaders, you can do that for the gold and the XP, but you will not deny the Spirit Totem compartment.
Hopefully they get done talking with this conquest stuff.
Okay, here you can see we've got the purple effects. This Spirit Totem effect is going to be there and it's going to accumulate for every jungle buff. So while we're at the red camp right now, this is presence now, this purple
I really hope they tell us they're taking out that bonus round in that freaking arena, dude. That is just so stupid.
Spirit Totem augment
it's just so
of the Violet Spirit Totem.
Okay, and you said of the Violet Spirit Totem. So how many colors of Spirit Totem are there?
We got 5 different colors of Spirit Totems that you'll be able to access. And again, as Clumsy mentioned, every time you kill this brand new camp, it will add another option on to your buff for you to choose from. So it's not like you'll get all 5 augments on your buff. You will choose one by basic attacking it.
Okay, good. The bot's
change the color
awesome.
on the circle there. That as you saw, it's kind of like a purple outline,
purple ring,
right around this red buff. And then when you pick up the red buff, you will also get the augment. You're still getting your typical buffs, your red buff, your blue buff, whatever it may be.
I still got to do a build video on this guy.
There
was a last stream we did. Was it yesterday?
For every buff then, right?
For every buff. Yep.
Wow, that's
I had
cool.
a build for
yeah,
him,
there it is
but it was just so hard to test.
Some other fun things as well.
The makeups that we're going against just had so much CC, it made it really hard to test them. I'm going to have to test them this week.
So that like every time you go in, you may not get. So this was the purple this time around.
Maybe
it may not be purple the first time.
Maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow. We'll see.
Play. However, it's going to be mirrored for each team. So if the Order side is violet, the Chaos side will also be violet because we wanted to make sure at least that stays symmetrical.
Yeah. So it's random, but there's still balance in it because both teams are never. It's not like the tanks are getting one buff while the hunters are getting a buff on the other team.
Right, or their buffs are getting better augments than we're getting for our team comps. It's mirrored randomness, which always ends up being a little bit more fair. But making it so that the camps change order every time you play. That this time, I'm really excited to get Violet buff. It gives attack speed. I'm an attack speed
I hope
warrior.
they come out with something really good, though, man, because the numbers have not been very good for Smite lately,
this time.
Dude.
What can I do in order to change up my strengths or use these augments that I am getting in order to have it affect my lane state really positively?
Let's see what we're looking at right now.
Or, hey, I got bailed out because I happened to get Violet right when I needed it.
Yeah.
And now I'm a lot stronger.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make sure that this system, added depth to the gameplay of the characters, added depth to the experience that you have on the Conquest map, but also wasn't just overly confusing. There's the default that's chosen. You can switch this whenever you want. Even when the buff drop has landed, like when the buff camp has been killed and the buff drop's landed, before you pick it up, you can actually change what it's going to be by attacking the totems there.
Okay.
If you want to just double up on red and red or whatever it may be, the effects aren't always the same. So, for example, the red Spirit Totem, the Crimson one, gives you lifesteal instead of just additional power. And, we want to be, that's a whole different topic of just being cognizant about the amount of player power people get.
Yeah.
But it's generally, all these choices are going to be good choices. It's just, do you want
okay, there it is. Not too bad. There's 10,364 people on Steam right now. So that's not too bad.
Might choose between, lifesteal a little bit early for the sustain.
I mean, it's not the 14,000 that we're used to average,
but you can switch this as much as you want throughout the game.
10,000 is a lot better than 4.
Once you've accumulated these Spirit Totems, they don't go away, and
once
the 5 Shaman
I think
camps
that new arena really
they
helped.
revert back to Harpy camps, and you
heard that the new god is an assassin mage?
Now you get to just play with which totems you want to empower.
So it's not like another
that proposes a really interesting gameplay shift too, because with them being random, say you get a buff that's incredibly great
Hopefully
for your
they talk about it. I
maybe
doubt
now
they
the
will,
jungler puts a little little more focus on helping the solo laner get ahead because you have that advantage, or it really gives a lot of that shift. Now, you've talked about there being different colors, but what do each of the different colored totems do? That's my question.
Sure, so I can go over those real quick.
Dude,
We've already seen Violet, which gives you that attack speed.
Yeah.
That's 10% attack speed.
That's the bread and butter,
We just
though,
saw
right?
Verdant get picked up, which is 10% max health and mana.
That would be interesting,
I was
though.
loving this in the solo lane in
An
our playtest yesterday.
assassin-type mage, huh?
Azure Spirit, that'll be blue.
So hopefully
is going to
it's
be
not just a mage that has to be up
CDR.
close.
So if
because
you're a character that really
that's
loves
like
that cooldown reduction early,
a suicide
seeing an
bomber,
Azure
dude.
Totem
I mean,
is going to be really
mages are
beneficial
already
to you.
squishy, and you have to
And
be
then
up
we've got
close to do
Clumsy
damage.
already
You're going to
mentioned
get
Crimson
CC'd
Spirit,
and killed
which is
every time.
7%
That's going to
physical and
be
magical
very
life steal.
interesting.
And then we finally have Golden
Very
Spirit,
interesting.
which is 5% penetration. So those damage characters that might not be as auto attack focused.
But then again, they pretty much made
a
a mage guardian with this guy here with Charon, right? So
from that Golden Spirit in order to
It is
help
what it
kill
is.
those tanks.
Yeah, getting some of those ability assassins online real quick with that golden totem.
See, the problem
that's really
with
awesome. I love the effects too. I
with
was talking
mages
with some people
being
about this earlier.
basic
Our
attack
UI
type
team really went
gods,
crazy with all these different masks. Seeing them
physical
on
gods
Twitter,
are
seeing
good
people
to do a
reply
lot
to
of
them, all
damage,
the, like, OMG
melee
green one is
wise
so
or
neat.
basic
Like,
attacks,
could not
whether it
agree
be
more.
melee or range,
Absolutely love
because
their
they get
design. They're
crit,
just
right?
funky little fellows. I want like
If a mage
an
doesn't
actual,
have
like,
crit,
carved LED
being a
version
basic
of all
attack
of them
mage
on
is
my
going to
That
be
would be sick.
worthless
Those
because
are
you don't have the
incredible
items
Yeah.
to support the
Super
damage.
awesome. Well, I mean, I guess
You know,
is there
Freya
anything
can
else
do
that
it
y'all
with the
wanted to
ring
cover as
build
we
because her
continue, to
her
look through the season
attacks
celebration map?
Well, we
buff
also have
her
some
basic
changes
attacks,
to
you know
the
what I'm saying?
Stygian Beacon.
But that's
as
why
well
this
as the
guy, even
Unleashed
with a
Titans.
high
So, you know, the
attack
Beacon,
speed
is
build,
charging
doesn't
right
work
now. How
as well
timed and
as
how we're
a
doing it.
high special
We've been
attack
really
build,
happy
right?
with how
because
the
he doesn't
Beacon
have the bonuses
system
on his
has
basic attacks.
encouraged teams to group up and fight while not
It would be
simultaneously
interesting if it
punishing
was an
those who might be
assassin
too
that
far
had
behind in
more
order to do it.
range and mage
It provides this really good point of interest.
Yeah, that would
but it was
definitely
doing
be
it
interesting.
up until you hit you hit your cap of 3 and then it was kind of gone.
Unless that
now
new
we're
mage
making a change
assassin
so that
gets some type
you will
of
now
crit
get
like
a second
Oleron,
loop
then that would be
after the
very
Unleashed
interesting
Titans
there.
both
That would
die.
be very
So
interesting.
5 minutes after the Unleashed Titans die, a new Stygian Beacon loop will begin.
Got it.
We just feel like we can use this map objective to encourage even more interaction with the enemy team, even beyond that first loop of 3 that we had before.
In addition to
what do we
that,
just
the
have? We just
reward
had
of
a
the Stygian Beacon
Guardian.
is also changing, so
Yeah, I
it's
guess
moving
we
away
are-
from that movement speed, which, we heard feedback from,
Shell
from
is a
players as
mage,
well, is that
so
increasing movement
I
speed
guess
throughout
we
the
are
game for
due
every
for an
player,
assassin, really.
might lead to some issues.
So I wonder if
down
it's
the
an
line. Well, we didn't
assassin-
really notice that, especially with the stacking up to 3%. That could be
A mage assassin,
split
yeah. So an
between the team.
assassin
But we
class
wanted to take
that
a different
uses
approach here
magic.
to also look at other issues.
That
We
would be
talked about this
interesting.
before with the
That's how they're gonna
snowball and
implement
comeback
that.
mechanics, which we're going to get into a little bit later.
Yeah,
Now
like
the
I said,
Stygian
the
Beacon
magic
reward is gonna be giving you
items don't
a simple
support a
1%
basic
physical
attack god.
magical power per stack, which will now be uncapped to the 6th, or be the new cap to the 6th Stygian Beacon loops that you can have.
Yeah, if you get all
instead of
Yeah, I've
just
been
the
out of
3.
the net, dude.
So
I don't know
1%
jack crap
doesn't
about
seem
the
like a
upcoming
lot,
god,
but
tell
you
you
can
the
get
truth.
towards 5 and 6%.
You guys know better
if
than
you-
I do.
If you're getting all of those, it does make a difference, and
Yeah.
you should be rewarded at that point in the game. And we're also well aware that a second Unleashed Titan push contention is going to be happening very, very late into the game. That's around 40 to 45 minutes,
Yep.
and that's very much intended. We don't
Dude, they've been
expect all
talking
games
about
to
this
go
crap for
to
like
that
30
length. This is
minutes
more
now.
so just
Come
like a
on.
mitigating the circumstance to help
Wrap
end the
it up.
game if it does get to it at some point. And we also don't want it to be a forced end at 45
They say-
minutes. It's just another method
Oh,
to allow,
so she's a
game
voodoo
set.
then.
Got it.
That is
Super cool. I mean,
that's
I
up there with
personally love that a
Baron
lot.
Samedi.
Stygian Beacon has
That's
been
going to
one of
be
my
in
favorite
his
additions
type
to the
of
Conquest map in a
genre.
while, because I love having that, like, all right, we've been laning for a while, we're kind of gotten into a rotation,
I think that's a
but now we
voodoo
have this
god.
big objective we can all fight over.
So that's gonna be
and it's one that
interesting.
you want to claim because it does feel good to get those buffs for your team. It feels good to win a team fight under this beacon, but at the same time, if you end up losing or you have to call a retreat because you just don't have what it takes to get that team fight, you don't feel like the game is over.
She looks very similar to
I
Baron.
think one of my other favorite
Yeah,
points
that's what I
about
would
that is
think.
one is the
Because that
captain
that
point
Madame
mechanic where it does
Brigitte,
cause
it's
teams to
a
fight. But if you're really just that far behind,
it's
and
like
maybe
I
your
said, it's the
laner's
same
ahead, they can
folklore
poke
as
them
Baron
off, and
Samedi.
You in the as a hunter in soul or a warrior in the soul lane, you can
Louisiana.
just farm and just maybe their
The Bayou.
opponent went to go contest
that black
contest the point
magic.
instead. You actually get
That
maybe
voodoo.
even more XP and gold in the short term
Yeah.
for that time, so it actually can help you come back ahead and pull back to the game.
Yeah, again, it's like with all of these changes, it's all about the ebb and flow of the game and you paying attention to what's going to be the most profitable for you. And I like that. I like things that give you this change, and I also like all these shiny colors. I'm glad that we've kept getting them. So, couple more general Conquest balance things that we wanted to talk about. So Cyclops chests and a little bit of farm shifting. So let's dive into, I guess, first the Cyclops chest.
We talked, well, in general, the preamble for this one.
Do
we talked a little bit about comeback mechanics and Snowball. One thing that we've been very cognizant going into this year, and I think we wrote a little bit about that on the patch notes in the blog post, about the game length as we went on through this year has climbed a little bit, and we want to make sure that we don't just get to ridiculous proportions. We've talked to SPL players, and we've seen the feedback from the community about how games just sometimes won't end, and we have introduced mechanics like the Cyclops chest to make sure that comebacks are important for the early to mid game and are viable. However, we want to continue making sure that we mitigate how strong that may be.
Dude, they're still talking about
it's
Conquest.
okay
Come
for
on.
there to be comeback mechanics. That's what we strive for.
They're
We
killing
also
me.
want to make sure
They're
that they're
killing me,
not
Smalls.
overly
They're killing
strong.
me.
So just like we did once before, we're kind of just doing a repeat on the same metrics that we found to be successful, which is reducing the strength of the gold deficit or the gold gain from the chests just by a very, very little bit, and also some farm shifts from the
You know what? I still could not find that red frickin' skin for him, man. That Reaper-looking skin.
That sounds good.
I could not find it.
I guess the last thing to talk about in this
I think somebody was telling me that it might be part of some type of
we have some
bundle or
general
something.
changes
I
to
don't
things,
know.
starting with a ranked reset, it looks like.
Yeah, so ranked players at
ranked
all
skin
MMR
reset.
values will
Be a
now
lot
have
of
some
butthurt
sort
people.
of reset applied to them in ranked Conquest, ranked Joust, and ranked Duel. In particular, capped players with capped MMR, 3,500, they'll be reset to 3,000, and that effect gets proportionally weaker down the MMR scale.
Yeah, as we go down.
Right, so players close to 1,500 will notice only a very slight reset.
I saw
but we
it
think
on in our
we've
Discord
seen
that they were talking about
resetting players who are just at the top.
I just don't know what pass they're
is
talking about.
good for those
and
players
if you
to
got
continue
Amazon
to
Prime,
restart that climb, and you
Amazon
don't
Gaming,
want to
don't forget they got
negate
that
all
new
the
Tiamat
progress
skin
these
that
players have
just
made throughout the
that
year
just got
and throughout the
posted. So
season.
make sure you claim that.
But
I just claimed mine yesterday. I know I put it on yesterday's stream, but there were some people that weren't
maybe
there.
had a couple tough games at the beginning of the season. Now you want to, you tanked your MMR, you lost a little bit of motivation. Now a little bit of that reset, the door's back open, you have another opportunity to get off on a better start.
And this is the same cadence that we've been doing this year for the seasonal changes. We make sure that we didn't miss it over here.
Yep.
Awesome.
I'll tell you what,
well,
though, the stream
the
looks
last
really
thing, and this
nice
is
on
cool, actually,
YouTube.
I like this a lot. Is additional time
I'm
for
pushing
game
it at 1,200
Yes.
or 12,000
So this
bit
one's
rate.
there for a few reasons, but
Only about a 3-second
and
delay.
we haven't gotten into it just yet. But we found for whether it's
Yeah,
on the
3-second
Conquest
delay,
map for
so
the
it's not bad.
kind of new types of starts. Although I would argue that this because the Harpy rotation is there from the beginning, Conquest is less of a reason to. But when new items kind of come into play,
Okay,
we
what's
want to make
this?
sure that there's additional
times
time for players
games.
to
New items.
yeah,
We do that?
Let them cook.
We might
Okay.
exactly.
Wait, is it down? Oh.
Oh yeah, there's something
do
coming
that.
up.
How
we
is
give some
it?
time for players
Hey, what's
to
up, Draco?
discover how that might change their starts and their
Yeah, they've been
purchases.
talking
And
about
this is
freaking
something that,
Conquest for
as
like the
people
last
get more
30 minutes,
comfortable,
dude.
we
They
might
haven't even
kind
given
of
us
revert those changes.
nothing,
It's something
no
we've
good
done in the past
information
year.
yet.
Just letting
We're
people
still
get
waiting,
used to
man.
all the new shifts.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get into a game and I'm like, oh, like I got some new stuff. What do I want? And then it's like camps responding in 4 seconds.
Yes.
Oh no.
Exactly.
So I'm a fan of it for.
Yeah, I'm
season
alpha
changes like this. I
testing
think
my
it's a really
new
cool
viewer
idea
point
because it
system,
gives me
dude.
a
So you
little-
see that
little
bot
more
right
breathing
there?
room to
If you look
figure
in the
out what I'm
description
going
of
to
this
take into
stream,
game.
you'll
So-
see
you're
all the
choosing off
codes
the
you can
menu, so
use
exactly.
and with your viewer
Exactly, in
points,
so many
or
words.
with
Yes.
your GGC, your
next
Reaper
up, we're going
souls.
to talk a little bit more about some cosmetic stuff, some fun chesty and skinny type
All right.
stuff. Starting with the reward chest, which will have Wildcard Merlin in it. I love this skin. We got the card art.
Ooh,
that is
okay,
Almost looks like
that's
the Joker,
It's
right?
the type of
And
smile you can
3D.
just trust, you know?
Yeah, very
Looks like
trustworthy
like a
guy.
Joker.
I haven't seen this one. This
Cartoon.
is very interesting.
I'd give him my social security number.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, cool.
I like how vibrant it is.
Yeah, that hand, the
Gloves.
It
too.
kind of
dark
gives me a
hand, yeah,
Loki
the
feel,
glove,
right?
That looks really cool.
He's always kind of got this spell focus as well, and then it's the rotating card now. That is awesome. I like
Yeah.
that
Yep.
a lot.
Every time we do a card theme,
Cool.
like, I really
Appreciate
love
that,
he's
brother.
on T5 with the
Appreciate
whole-
that renewal of that
Slam
membership, man.
Absolutely incredible.
I
actually
really
have
appreciate
the
the
cards
support, my
from
friend.
that like we.
Oh, yeah.
made. I love it.
I remember
It's a
that.
treasured possession of mine. So
Why the hell didn't I hear
again
an
available
alert go
in
off?
the wild card or in the reward chest, Wildcard Merlin. I'm mixing my words up
I'm
here.
gonna have
with
to
the
look at
intimidating
that.
Smile risen me up. All right, so next up, this one's exciting, and this is a bonus update. So I want to put this out there. Not going to be coming out next week. You got to wait a little while longer, but you know we love talking about stuff early, especially when it's as awesome as this. We have more Magic the Gathering crossover headed your way.
Let's go.
with Garuk Shock.
Let's go. Yeah, when we were talking about the various planeswalkers that could come over in our
it looks like a
work
big
with
Loki,
Wizards of
don't
the
it?
Coast, Garrick was
This guy looks like
obviously one
Conan
of the
the
ones that
Barbarian.
came up. He's had a big resurgence. You know, he finally broke his curse in the story not too long ago, and he's the first Planeswalker. Like when Planeswalkers first started coming out, Garrick was the first. Yeah. And he's gotten so many iconic cards over the years. And he's got a big axe, and he beats you up. What does Chalk do? He's got a big axe, and he beats you up. It's a
He looks like a character from World of Warcraft, the Wrath of the Lich King.
I mean, you have to.
Something
just,
from
just what he's gonna do. Yeah, it's
the Pinnacle
it was a lot of fun. I got the chance to write this voice pack. It's kind of set in that timing of. He was cursed and doing a lot
cool. I like it.
Not so great things, you know, taking down a lot of other planeswalkers, but he's recently freed that curse and has that new perspective and all that kind of stuff. So a little bit of darkness of a hint there, but he is the mono green Chalk, not your Golgari, you know, cursed huntsman type of feel.
That's awesome. And with something like this, it would be a shame not to go check it out in game. So let's do just that. Let's dive in.
Yeah, I was super excited to get a chance to do to do even more Magic stuff, because every chance I get, I'm playing a Magic skin, man. It's everything. This has looked so awesome.
Absolutely. Chalk the Barbarian.
And I love you know, you mentioned that mono green, and you can see it in the abilities too, you know. Oh, that's so is that a ram running around? That's awesome.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's so cool. I love all the effects. Like, again, we have a lot of Magic players here that were super big fans of this content, and just
okay, I must have been running my mouth. What does he say? Magic
is incredible.
What
and joining
is
us
this, like a character from some
is,
game or something?
Yeah, resident mono green player here. Very,
very
psyched.
I must have been talking and not paying attention.
I love playing some big old stompa decks, and Garrick's Planeswalkers have a very solid
like
place.
Magic the Gathering?
Which we beat Chaos with the other day.
Oh, no, that was Mono Green Devotion. I wish I could put him in that. That's a key
Magic the Gathering, yes,
it's only a matter of time. You know, you'll be before. So either way, super excited for this. Love
Magic Gathering crossover.
Didn't
they already do that once?
Again,
I thought they did that once already.
Bonus update. It's not going to be out on Tuesday. I know, heart's broken. I get that. It will be coming out with the bonus updates. That's going to be a few weeks down the road.
I'll tell you what, though, that skin does look pretty good.
It will be in addition
I'll give them that.
to the Magic chest, so you can roll.
They
the
have,
Magic
yeah,
chest
that's
to get
what I
this, or you
thought.
can direct purchase the skin if you want. But again, gotta wait for the bonus update. Sorry, I know. I hate to tease it this early for y'all, but we had to talk about it. You know, something looks that good. So next up, another event to talk about. We have a new Battle Pass coming with the new season, the Celestial Syndicate Battle Pass, which I am super pumped for. If y'all are familiar, we did kind of an Infernal Syndicate thing earlier. So this is kind of the opposite side of that. This is like,
they're like rivals.
The warring faction. Yeah. So instead of all like the devilry and the dark, you got kind of they're still a syndicate, you know. They still got that thug look to them, but they're
stylish.
Yeah, they're stylish. I guess it's refined. But so I'm super excited for that. So that will be a new battle pass launching with the season of Celebration, and there are a lot of cosmetics, a lot of rewards throughout the battle pass. But obviously,
I didn't even finish my last battle pass.
We're gonna get to show off here.
I was just
starting
too
with
busy,
Celestial Mayhem Discordia.
This skin was so much fun.
Nice.
Between the like golden effects and
That's
just like her
Discordia?
attitude, she's got this like boss attitude where she's not taking any crap from any demons or devils. She's just gonna beat him up and then get back to it.
Love her hair.
I was about to say, Discordia always has good hair in her skins. I feel like that's just a universal truth.
Nice.
This is like
so good.
So like
she looks like
so
an angel,
suave,
right?
So stylish.
Suave is a good word for it, because it's about the suits. It's about like that crisp, clean style. Like
it reminds me of some
they
type
command
of Netflix
attention
special
and respect just by the
with
way
an
they
angel
dress.
in it.
I like it that the wings as well are just like super clean and pristine.
It
kind
looks
of
alright.
continue to radiate that.
Yeah,
they
because
don't
normally
like
she
the
has
shoes.
like the chaotic magic, right? But these are like actual like angel wings.
And they're not like overly ornate either,
Yeah.
right? Like they're not just like armored up or anything like that. They're very cool.
Yeah, they almost look.
I mean,
they almost
it's
look
okay.
like stonework. It's crazy. Let's
not.
go in game and check it
It's
out.
not
You know,
great,
I want
but
to
it's okay.
Dude, and that passive right off the bat,
Right.
that's how you know. All Discordia players got to be having that.
True. If you're not the one carrying,
Ooh,
the
that
ball,
looks nice.
You got to step up a little bit. Nice. Ooh, I like it. There are like wings in that orb.
They're adding more.
Ooh, that's really nice. Okay, that's cute too. Bye, Odin. We'll see you later.
Bye, Odin.
Get banished, silly guy.
Knows not to mess with the syndicate. Oh, I was
That's
looking
awesome.
for the snipe. So another super cool skin. I always love Discordia's effects too. You know, like all of her abilities just have like they
That
carry
looks nice.
effects
Those
super
balls,
well.
they look really
So
nice.
When we
I like
unleash
that.
our FX
That
teams
gold
and our animators
really stands out.
to play with these and to make them look
And that's the
as
thing, right?
incredible as
To
they do.
have
I
it,
feel
like,
like
see
they
how
don't look- so
how
that's very
bright
pretty.
her
Absolutely love
identifier
it.
is.
So
That's
next up,
really
we have,
important,
another
dude. Because when you
skin.
got all that
Celestial
crap on the
Deliverer
screen when you're
Mercury.
fighting, sometimes
Oh,
it's
we got
hard
a-
to see what the
Oh,
hell
God.
where
We
your
went for the purple
target is.
scheme here.
So I
This
like
one might be
that.
my favorite Mercury skin ever.
Yeah.
Like Run.exe is gonna have a hard time keeping up.
Run.exe.
He's
Wow.
hunky. Like I don't know where else to go with that. He's suave. He's got the.
He really
rose.
is. He's in between jobs right now. He's
Yeah, is that right? Okay.
Dang, you
He's
got the
trying to
wolf.
That is backstory.
woo a couple maidens here, and then he's off on his
between
next
jobs?
Yeah.
off on his next bounty. You know how it is.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know. Like we're talking about a syndicate
Oh,
here.
wow.
Okay.
That's- yeah.
The sunglasses
That's very
are
cool.
fire. I don't know why. I thought
Dude,
you
what
meant,
the
like,
hell's on his
in between
head?
jobs.
Why
Like,
did
he's
they
like, oh, he's
do
got an
that?
interview at 4 for potential. I was like, oh,
Yeah, for
but-
his 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what he tells the ladies anyway.
If he didn't have
The
that
material work
silly
on the suit
thing
is
on his
really
head,
cool.
I
Yeah.
think
Like
it'd be
this very,
alright.
Velvet.
Yeah, the velvet, but you can
That
see
thing
some
on his
ornate
head is
material as well, like
uncalled. They didn't
inscriptions
need
on it
that, dude.
that's,
That's
like,
just.
there
It
with
looks
the
like
sheen.
an
That's really awesome.
It's
afterthought.
kinda
They're
like
like, oh,
gloss,
just throw something on
too.
his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool.
But
I'm
other
gonna have to
than
buy
that,
one
the
of
rest
those
of them looks
somehow.
alright.
I don't know how. I have to hit up my Celestial Tailor, I guess. But so another super cool skin I'm excited for.
You could have
Followed
definitely done
by
without that crown.
Celestial Stinger Amuzin Cobb.
Celestial
Ooh.
Stinger. Oh, okay. Sweet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like I like how we're going from like suave dude to Stinger of Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is certainly a scary angel, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean the people below him seem to be, like just worship a little bit, and you'll be fine.
Well, yeah, that's how he gets his power, you know.
That's true. So yet another skin. Ooh, though, like
Ooh, the like
Angel halo?
violet?
yeah, like
Yeah, but the halo
Royale
just
thing.
looks
That's-
broken. I mean, it
looks
just doesn't
really
look right
nice.
on him.
Ooh, and the
The
like
column, like
yeah, they look like columns, but they look like kind of ancient, you know.
Yeah.
Like this is some like primordial angel guy that's not necessarily a good guy, but he definitely
doing
is
his
one to
duty.
be worshipped.
yeah, he gets the job done. All right.
Absolutely.
So the last skin we're going to talk about here is one I'm super excited about. I mean, I'm excited about all of them, but this one kind of really hits at the top here. Celestial Inferno Surtur.
Yeah, this is just
Okay.
Now, I can't lie. I'm not biased either. Like, this is just awesome.
A
Yeah.
big sword, check. Big wings, check. Big dude, also check.
Yeah.
You've got all of them.
You got the pecs. You got that white brilliant hair with
Yeah,
the thick beard.
that's part of it too. Like I play a lot of like mage characters and RPGs and stuff, but I always go for the kind of wizened but badass aesthetic,
Yeah,
and
they
he's
got
got
carried
that.
away
Like, I
with
go for
angel
the
wings,
like the
huh?
whiter gray hair,
Yeah.
like with like a little bit of like a clean
Dude,
shaven
it's,
beard.
I
That just
swear
looks
they
sick.
have like the
He's-
same
Oh yeah,
guy.
That's
He
awesome.
looks
It's
like the
either
boss.
angel wings
Absolutely.
or
He is the
hands on the
boss.
back or a
Yeah,
bunch of
oh,
eyes
that's
everywhere.
awesome.
That's the only
See,
plays
and
they
now
have.
I'm thinking of the other syndicate boss. Who was it? It was Thanatos, I
Thanatos,
think.
yeah.
And they like you have.
hair curl.
It's just, like I want to see them match staring down each other because I think
mean,
that
he
would
looks-
be a very
he looks pretty
intimidating
My
tough.
thing.
ultimates too.
Who? So,
He
one of
definitely
them's
looks like
giant
a mob
rock.
boss for sure.
Let's see how that works out for old Fanny.
That's true. All right. I mean,
Man,
I
that's
wanna
a
see
good.
what the
That's a
giant
good
rock-
Yeah,
skin.
sure.
man.
Let's-
Oh.
You see the
Okay, we're gonna
detailing
look at
on
it.
his
Oh,
chest?
it's
They even
too?
added the
Oh,
hair
the
on his
imps
chest
too?
and everything. That's
All right,
pretty good
let's-
Oh, he's
detail.
got the like trail on the ground with the
Yeah.
sword too, and that's like all shiny. I
again,
remember you
it's a
talking about
completely
how
different color.
cool that tech was.
Yeah, that they definitely took a lot of time to get that working in. So seeing it like skinned as well is
So I guess that this theme for
Oh,
this
and it's
for
gonna be
this
powered on one. I didn't
season
even
is
think about that.
demons
Oh my God.
and
Do that again.
angels.
Do it again.
Yeah, I like how they like. Pull
Yeah.
Oh,
That's so cool.
Sick.
Oh, I see the little imps fighting down there too.
Oh my god.
Look at him, buddy.
I can't. Oh my god.
I mean, he is the boss. He commands his minions around.
He's like converted the demons. You know?
Yeah.
Now those imps, those little minions look
Oh,
pretty
here we go.
cool.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a cool
Not even a rock at all. He's just a
wow.
beam of light.
Yeah, a celestial beam of light. That's a really heavy laser beam.
Dude, that one might be the coolest thing.
Wow.
Dude, and he has a new animation going up too. He like.
I tell you what, man, you're
Yeah,
not gonna be able to
like
miss
light-
if you're getting
oh, yeah.
targeted
Oh,
with
yeah.
that.
That is so
It
cool.
pretty much lights
Oh,
up everything
that
around
is-
you.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. See, every time we release a new god, and Surtur's been out for a long time, but I remember I said it for him too. I said, you know, that's the type of ability that I want to see skins for.
Yeah.
Because when you have an ability as epic and grandiose as that, when you skin it, there's just no way it can't look incredible. So to go from, you know, this giant molten boulder to a massive like beam ray of light, it's super awesome, and I will always be looking forward to what's next. So our teams are incredible. All right, well that does it for the Celestial Syndicate Battle Pass, again, launching next week. That's Tuesday. With,
so it's a battle pass,
Season
so we'll be able to get it
Celebration.
through the battle pass.
You know,
points.
we've teased this a little bit. We've made the Let 'em Cook memes.
Just a little.
We have some item balance, and we couldn't get into items
Here we
without
go,
talking
man.
about
Here we
what's
go.
new.
Item balance.
You know,
Here
the
we go.
reason that match duration extension seems like a good idea is because we want you all to be able to look at this new stuff and figure out how am I going to pop off this game with these new items. And our new items are recipes, you know? We went to
here you
the
go,
kitchen,
the
we
new
chefed it
recipe
up.
items.
Well, not me, the designers.
the
are
new
much other
recipe
really talented
food, right?
people. I just got to like stare at it and feel hungry all the time. But and
That was a problem during this.
that was right. So I guess let's get into recipes. What are recipes in Smite?
Right, so recipes are a brand new type of item. They're going to be actually listed under the starter item category. So in the store filter, you'll see starter
removes
items
the bonus
recipes.
round. I agree,
These are
man.
something that we expect every player to get at the beginning of games alongside their starter items.
Got it.
And that doesn't mean that you're going to just have like less value for items at the beginning of the game because these cost 0 gold.
Absolutely free.
You're picking up. You're going to see these 5 different types of recipes. You're going to pick up one of them for free. They even go to like the last slot in your inventory as well, which was like fun. Added new tech. The program team helped a lot with all of these.
So do we get
these are
another slot? Is that what they're
evolving
saying?
items essentially. They have 2 quest steps each one. They all have the same kind of system alongside them. And then you go through one. They have 0 stats, so 0 gold, 0 stats. It helps you there. And every time you progress from one step to another, you actually get a little bit of a gold reward. So it's an incentive to continue going forwards. And then when you finally complete the second step, you get the completed dish. You're done cooking. You follow the quest steps and you've chefed it up, and you get a final dish.
Oh yeah.
And then you're served that final dish, which again has no stats. It has a primary passive benefit. It lasts an infinite duration until you sell it for 0 gold. And that's something we said on the blog post as well. It's we expect you players to get this early on, and you'll finish it before 10 minutes ideally. And late game, you sell whatever you haven't finished eating.
Yeah. So whatever you haven't finished, you get a little doggy bag.
Exactly.
Get rid of that. Well, that's super cool, and I absolutely love that. I'm always a fan of things that give you those additional quests, So like I'm farming, I'm paying attention. Maybe I'm not winning lane, but so I have something else to do. I'm hugging tower and I'm trying to get these quests done and get my little benefit in.
All the quests for the different recipes were definitely designed such that if you want to min-max them, if you really want to chase completing these as fast as possible to get that ultimate, to get maybe even the gold along the way and then the ultimate passive reward as fast as possible, you can. You can try and do this as best as you can and finish it as quickly as you can. However, if you're falling behind and you don't think you can min-max it that well, you will likely still complete this at a healthy period of time. It's not going to take you till the end of the game, like as you're buying your 6th item before you get that final dish. You will complete it in a fair time because we want to make sure, again, that snowball and comeback mechanic argument that we talked about before, it doesn't,
I don't know
it's
how
not
this
a,
is
it's
going
not
to work,
a new
dude.
method of overtaking it. Also, we didn't want to just increase player power at the end of the game. Right? We want to find that
it sounds
very
like too much work.
delicate balance between making sure that
I was
players
thinking
aren't
the
too
same thing
strong
you came
with the end game builds, and this was just one way of kind of a twist of the early to mid game.
Not only does
that
it
is
sound like too much
diminished
work,
in the
is
late
are we
game.
going to have
one
enough
other thing
time in an
about
arena
these is that
match
these
to
are
even
not
do
role
it?
locked. You can buy them
Exactly.
in any role that you want. They are designed with a role in mind, that it is probably easier to do it in. But you can buy it anywhere. I've been experimenting a lot with that, seeing what I can buy in jungle, what I can get in solo, and it's a lot of fun to try different things on different characters. So we really recommend, trying it out the first time, maybe with the one that we recommend for the role. But again, mix it up, show us what you got, and feel free to cook. Go ahead.
Yeah, feel free to cook. That's something we've always done too. Like things will be designed for certain roles and will work technically better in those roles. But that's as far as we're aware. We love seeing people flex. We love seeing y'all experiment. And if y'all pop off and say, "Hey, yo, this hunter one, like buy this as the assassin," because like there's some crazy stuff you can do.
Because at the end of the day, it's always based on these class archetypes as well. Because as these are items, they're available in all game modes.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be able to get all of these recipes in all game modes with the caveat of I believe one.
Two. There's two
Party
exceptions.
punch being like the one recipe not available in
Arena and Assault. Yes, and you'll see why.
We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, this is for your own good. I know that you guys want to party with the party punch, but
that's true.
We'll get to it.
You have all the other ones and all the other game modes.
He's Baron's wife.
And yeah, we're excited to see what combination of things that people pick up.
Well, I think we've talked enough about them theoretically. Let's pop open the recipe book and start going down the list. Let's kick off with golden gooseberries.
Yeah, so we can briefly go through what they are. Like I said, there's no stats on any of these. So golden gooseberries is the more hunter-oriented one or basic attack-oriented one. The first step is kill some minions, simply put. You can do this as lane minions or jungle minions. There is a distinction between those.
This is blasting the berries, right? You're getting them ready.
Yeah, step 2, so once you've done that, you get your 50 gold like you do for all of them. You move on to step 2, which happens automatically. You don't need to go back to base or anything.
Perfect.
You then need to deal 750 damage with basic attacks. Again, this is incentivizing the basic attack or
Dude,
in the gameplay.
750
A lot of these
damage
quests
ain't
are
crap.
simple things that you've seen before. Like I said, we didn't want to break ground and make sure they were all mode agnostic. And then finally, you've done step 1, you've done step 2, and
like
you get the
one
final
hit.
dish, the actual golden gooseberries themselves, which is, you might have seen this before, and it's very specifically chosen this way, but your basic attacks will also hit enemies within a 10-unit radius for 30% of the damage to gods and 50% of the damage to minions. This is
interesting,
effectively
dude. That gives
a
you
way
a
of
small
introducing
AoE.
a golden blade-like effect
Yeah.
That
for everyone
for-
who wants
for,
it without having to worry about the stats. Also at
that
a
for
diminished
freaking
amount of
hunters
diminished
is gonna
radius,
be-
so it is a
dude,
weaker effect.
you
And
get that
Golden
Odyssey
Blade is
Expo
still
and
inside
that?
in the game, so you can technically double up on these, but theoretically you shouldn't need to.
Yeah.
If you just wanted to splash of this, if you just wanted this in the Hunter Lane to help,
no,
you know,
they said
get
that this
a
is
better
all
clear later
modes
on,
except for
as
the
you progress.
something
This will help
punch
get
and
there.
some
this
other
is also
ones.
not
So I don't
necessarily a
know.
replacement for anyone like your Arachnes,
I don't know if
your
this is
mercs,
one of the
or
ones they
collies that
said
are
it
getting
wasn't.
it in the jungle. You can also get this, but you might want something else instead. So it's not a replacement. We're not
I don't know
getting
what the
rid
second
of
one. They
Golden
said
Blade,
the
but
party
it's there if
punch,
you
and
wanna
I don't know
try
what
and
the second
experiment.
one they said
If
that
you want
wasn't.
both, it does
arena,
work,
I don't
but
think it was this
it's
one.
not like as
It's not crazy.
Yeah, it's not.
crack.
It's crazy, and you're really. You could have been flexing into something else that could have helped you out in your gameplay instead.
Yeah.
But we're excited to see it.
Yeah, because again, I mean, no gold, which is awesome. It's no gold. You complete some missions, you get this awesome effect, but there's no stats with it either. So if you're trading out Golden Blade, then you're missing out on those stats. Where you can
but
just
it
get a free
takes
passive,
up
choose a different item.
item
Exactly.
slot
Blood
though.
pass.
That's
So
the only problem.
Next up, Sturdy
yeah.
Stew.
Yeah, the Sturdy Stew. First one for this. This is our more support-oriented one.
Got it.
As you can see by our first
If it
step,
had
which
its
is
own
obtain
slot, it might be
40
worth it. But if
minion
it takes
assists.
away a slot and
Yeah,
has
a couple
zero
waves go
stats,
by. Jungle camps also count for this, so literally any minion on the map, and you will be getting those. Second step is to crowd control enemy guns 10 times, and you can't gain more than 1 stack per 1 second.
yeah, it's
so
not a
if
really
you're
good
thinking,
trade-off.
like,
I
I've
agree,
Ares
you
trained
Paul.
someone,
It's just
you gotta wait the whole time, and then it'll go off again, or like Nox,
something like
or
that.
Ganesh, or any of these
I mean,
characters
that's a
that have
lot
the
of
channeled
attack
CCs.
power
Those
to
guys
lose,
don't
dude.
have an inherent advantage in getting
and
those
you're not
stats.
getting no
But
attack
the
speed.
final
Like
dish
at
is
least
that
when you use
you
the
are hit by
Odyssey
a crowd
Expo,
control, hard crowd control,
you don't have any
you
attack
will
power,
pulse
but you have a
out
crap ton of attack speed, right?
protection aura, basically, that
But
happens
with
one
this, you'll
time.
get nothing.
And that will be 5 protections plus 1 per
Yeah, I
level
don't think it
to
sounds
yourself
useful in
and
arena
allies
either.
within 55 units for 5 seconds with an internal cooldown of 10 seconds.
Gotcha. Well, that's super cool. Again, I love all the quests, those type of things. It's like I'm playing a game and I get to play more game while playing game. It's a win.
Even these passive effects themselves, like they are almost a little bit more
If
passive
it had
than
its
some of the
own
other ones.
slot
they have a purpose
for
to
it,
them.
I think
They're
it would
there
be
for a reason.
very
They help you out,
interesting. But
you
the
don't
fact
need
that
to,
it takes
like,
up an
min-max
item
them
slot,
at all times. This
and
one,
you only got
actually,
what, like 6 items
If you're
that
doing
you
the right
can
things
buy?
and you're
I
tanking
mean,
and you're getting hit by the
nah,
abilities over your
pass.
teammates, you're helping your teammates out.
Yeah,
all
you're
out.
doing
Yeah.
what you're supposed
it's
to
for
do.
early game.
Absolutely
They
love
said
it.
you can
Next up,
sell mid game.
Bountiful Bow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
too.
I think this is
Yeah,
the one
that's
where
true,
it's like,
too.
as soon as we're brainstorming different
Right
ones,
before you
as
get
soon
to
as we
your
came with the idea
last
of, like,
item,
there
just
needs
sell
to be
it,
dumping
and then
bounds.
because it
Food,
doesn't
yes.
cost
It
nothing.
just
So
needs
it's
to
an added
happen.
benefit for
Instantly
free.
clumsy with
Yeah,
what
yeah,
we're
you're
doing.
right.
Yeah, it's
You're
like,
right.
I need
Yeah,
a
that
bow
could be
no matter
beneficial.
what.
I agree.
And then I think I
If it
can't remember
gets
whose
pushed to
suggestion
the
was for
very
like the word
end,
just
and then you
bountiful.
just
I'm
sell
like
it
that's
for the last
amazing.
item.
Bountiful
That's
bow.
how we knew this
Yeah,
was meant to
I
be
think-
alliteration.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the alliteration. I wanted to comment.
It
I
probably
think we
would
went
be
backwards and
beneficial.
we made sure all of them had alliteration.
Yeah, they all
'cause
have
I
alliteration.
think only like 2 of them did at this point. I'm like,
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
forgot that
Bountiful
they said
bow.
All of
that
them got
it
it.
starts
Yeah,
with
And
your
also
last
shout
item
outs to
slot.
Kalani as well for the UI art. Like they all look amazing.
all look
and
delicious.
that's actually what I
You
was
just
talking
gotta
about before.
remember
Is
to
like
sell
every
it,
time we were like going back and forth on the UI art, we're like, okay, well maybe we like expense
Yeah, that
a
was a
trip
very
to go
good
get some
point.
food because like
Yeah.
this is
For
just research. At
research.
this
Research,
point.
yeah, you're making
Yeah.
sure that it aesthetically is the right. So I think you nailed it.
Yep.
Honestly.
So Bountiful Bow is the
Hey, we'll
more
try it out,
ability
man.
or
We'll see what-
mage-focused
what-
one.
what it's
Step
like.
1, simply spend some mana.
I want to actually pause you there real quick because you may just say, "Oh, but I can use abilities," before the timer happens. But it actually does not count. You have to wait till the game starts, and whatever match you're in, that's variable time, of course.
Yep.
But the game actually has to begin, so everyone's on a fair playing field there in terms of.
I can't wait for people to like not listen to this until
So
start spamming.
what does
it.
this
Yeah.
do?
It doesn't
Gives
work. You have to wait.
Unless you're Osiris,
you
that's not
use
really
a
helping you out.
non-alter ability cooldown reduced by.
Step 2, so the
Dude, that'd be
counterpart
good
to the
for
other one, you're going to
Kukon.
have to deal god
Kukon,
damage
you
with
already get
abilities.
that
Again,
like that,
specifically
dude.
god damage, so you have to actually be
He's
aggressive.
like a mana
and find the
holic.
enemy
He goes
gods
through
and hit
mana
them.
so freaking
Abilities over the basic attacks this time.
Yeah.
And then finally, for that ability-focused dish effect, when you use a non-ultimate ability, that cooldown is reduced by 1.5 seconds, and that effect itself has an
Discordia?
additional
Yeah.
cooldown of 8 seconds. So again, something that you can definitely min-max if
But
you want to.
Kuko
You can
goes
start
through
thinking
mana
about
fast,
kind
dude.
of like
Holy
Mulan's
crap.
passive, which which ability you're going to use first.
Yeah.
However, if you don't want to think about that, you're just going to get.
That's why you have to use that Book of Thongs, because if not, it's not even for the damage. You use it for the
mana.
out,
even if you're not like really focusing on it.
Yep.
So cool. Next up, continuing the alliteration, it's a party punch ton.
Yeah,
See,
so
this is the one they said that they weren't having for
This one
arena.
is the one, again, that was banned in the other modes, and the reason why is because you have to kill or assist 30 jungle minions. And in Assault, there's none.
Unless
there's like 6.
In Arena, there's 6, but 30. I mean, that takes you
That's
getting
gonna take a
every single buff on the map for
What if
5
the fire
rotations,
giant
but-
counts for like all of it? Though?
Yeah, there you go.
You still have to wait till he spawns and stuff
that
like
would
that.
be 8 minutes,
and then
though,
you
which
get
is
it
a little
then you
towards
get
the
it
end of our
stolen.
window.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
not
idea
the
could
greatest.
stand the
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, but step 2 for Party Punch, again, junglers keep in mind, traverse 1,500 units.
Yep.
So just walk around the map, do your rotations, and keep traveling, and you will get that step 2 done to obtain your final dish, which is every 100 units that you travel, you get a buff. And that buff will deal 20 plus 15% of your physical or magical power as physical damage.
Exactly.
So either mages,
Mercury
guardians,
buff.
Magicals or physicals can get this, but it will always do physical damage.
Got it.
And it will trigger on your next basic attack or ability. And this also procs on NPCs as well. So any of your jungle camps this can proc on. I believe it does not proc on towers though. But generally it is very fun to rotate and then get the right amount of movement for you to get that big ol' wackaroni.
Yeah,
and
pop a can.
that whacker.
Wackaroni. It's Party Punch, not Wackaroni.
And you'll
Jeez, all right.
once you start picking this up in the game, you'll see that like 100 units. This isn't a large investment of time like that. You'll get this multiple times in team fights.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's super cool. Sounds like Mercury would be a fan of that one.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It
Loves
sounds like
walking
his
around. All right.
Mercury buff.
So the last one here, the durable drumstick.
Kind of as the name alludes, and the only archetype that we haven't hit yet is the Soul Lane Warriors for the most part, or just your tankier characters, because you can pick this up on Guardians or anyone else if you wish to.
Damage
But here
enemy
you're
god
dealing
20
dealing or
times
taking
basic
god
attacks.
damage here. So now it's kind of on the receiving side.
Yeah.
Deal some damage if you can you build that up a bit more. But if you're taking damage, if you're being hit a lot, now you're stacking this too. Step 2, after you finish the first step, you successfully damage an enemy god 20 times with basic attacks or abilities. So now you're damaging them back. Now this is always like you want to be aggressive. You want to hit enemy god specifically. It won't work off of minions or towers, but be aggressive. And then for your reward, being out of combat, which is the 5 seconds, you get a buff that reduces the damage of the next basic attack or ability by 20%.
Yeah.
So you do your thing. You kind of weave between the fights, and every time you come out of combat, you'll then be a little bit tankier the next time you engage.
Yeah.
Oh, I
every time
see.
you
So
leave combat, you make sure to eat another
You can
drumstick.
stay out of
and
combat
then
for more than
hit by
5
something.
seconds. You pretty much get
Who
a
can
small
eat the
shield.
things by the end
So
of the
the
game?
next
Is that
time
how
you
it
get
is?
hit by
Yeah.
basic
Every time
attack or any
that's
type
a
of
new way of
damage,
spinning
you
it.
just
It's
take
like
20% less damage.
bountiful
That's
bow,
what it
whatever.
is.
You're off the internal cooldown. You just eat a bow and just
I guess
responds
for
to
that
cooldown.
one
Yeah.
hit.
That's what it is. Okay.
Which
Yeah,
if you
like-
eat
like
a Kukulkan
every
alt,
guy
that
has
would
pockets
that
full of
def
food.
20%
Yeah,
less of
exactly.
that would be
Greasy
awesome.
pockets.
So yeah, you're gonna see
Or
see
you
Mercury
hit
pull
with
like a
the Nox
handful of
ult, right?
punch out of his pocket. and just kinda
Janus.
He's got like one of those like hats, right? That just filters.
yeah, the drink
party
hat.
punch.
You're exactly right. Oh man.
I think Bacchus has that one actually.
Well, with that he does. With that cursed image in my head, so there are a few additional notes here at the bottom if y'all want to go over. Just little.
Yeah, we
little
kind of did this in a
about the
preface,
food.
but we can run through them again
Yeah,
really
you
quick.
definitely did.
You can only ever have one recipe at a time. You can only ever purchase one recipe, but that's after you complete a step. Once you've completed a step, you can no longer buy a new recipe, but anytime before that first step is done, feel free to swap them out. Of course, you will lose progress on the one that you have if you do want to swap it out, but until that first step is done, you are free to change out, but again, once you have done that first step, you can't buy it again. We talked about this earlier, but the item is slotted automatically in the last inventory slot. This is just kind of to incentivize people to hang on to it until they need that true last item, sixth item
Yeah,
slot.
that's what
also
Level
helps you
was talking
distinguish
about.
it because it's
That's
like
a good
everyone
point.
generally
I mean,
is
if
having
it's
this. When you
free,
press that tab screen, look at the scoreboard.
You know what I'm saying? If it's
You know
free, you
exactly.
might
see,
as
like,
well
all the
take the
start items.
advantage. You know
You
what
can
I'm
see at the
saying?
other side, you can see all the
Yeah.
the
If you
recipes.
get
It
it
just
finished
has this great
mid-game,
mirror
you're good.
effect.
If you don't finish to the
if
end,
you
who
do want
cares?
to
Just sell it and
for
buy an
any
item.
reason, it's sold for 0 gold, so you're not really
Yeah.
getting anything from it in that instance. So again, hang on to it until you really need to get rid of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the starter item section will be starter items / recipes now, and that's where you can find them. And then again, Party Punch is not available in Arena and Assault, and that's
Got it.
for your own good. We
Yeah,
tried it.
that's-
Promise, it's not that good.
Yeah, it won't work for you. We swear. So as
someone who made that mistake.
it'll be fine. All right, well, cool. Super excited for those. Super excited to be hungry while playing Smite, which
Yeah, we should need like a food sponsor now too, just like to go alongside this.
So any food sponsors out there, hit us up. We will literally do it in a heartbeat. So 'cause we're all foodies here. So let's move on to some more general item balance, right? Because obviously there's plenty of item balance, and you know, I said this at the beginning of the show. Usually this is where I'd say, we're not covering every single item. Check out the update notes. And you still should, but I'm not sure if they're live
I
quite
really
yet.
hope
But
they
as
fix
soon
that
as the
start
website
item
starts
bug for
working
sure,
again,
dude.
we're going to get it out.
It's still a
But
pain in the butt.
As luck would have it, we sat down. We were like, all right, notes are ready. You know, I slaved over them. I whipped them up, not quite as hard as the durable drumstick, but, you know, I tried. And
we've been streaming almost an hour, and they still haven't gotten to the items.
So turns out 404 error got hands. So as soon as that's up, you can go and check out anything we don't talk about. But we have some pretty cool balance we're going to get into, starting with some starter items. So Mannequin Scepter, Mannequin Mace, both kind of getting a change.
Yeah, so in this pass, we wanted to have a look at some of the, specifically two of the different paths of items that were starter items that were underutilized, a little bit, less exciting. So Mannequin Scepter being one of them. Simple one here is going to be reducing the gold. Usually that's kind of just almost like an offhanded change that you see for tier 3 items. But for a starter item, that actually means a lot. That means, you can compare it to the other one. You can get 2 more pots. You're 100 gold closer to your next actual item. So that one's going to be a big change there for Mannequin Scepter. Mannequin's Base being the upgrade that wasn't as favorable if you did go Mannequin Scepter. Now it's got 15% attack speed on it, which is a really big deal.
That's a pretty nice little buff there.
We wanted to make sure that we found an opportunity to add a stat that we thought would be very helpful for that effect.
Definitely,
for the
15% more attack speed. Dude,
and we also increased that health just by a little notch from 75 to 100 to incentivize giving that a try. If we need to dial this back down later on, that's fine. But we have some really other strong jungle options as well, so we wanted to make sure that this felt competitive.
I might have to take a look at that, see what that would work on.
So next up, it looks like we have a kind of a trio of shrouds.
Gold players gonna love it,
and Sacrificial, all kind of on the change docket.
Yeah, so these guys were never really the most popular
I
mage
never
starter
used
items. And with the change
shrouds,
to
dude.
lifesteal way back in
way
10.3, if you remember the season, I hope, that whole thing.
Yeah.
We did a lot of healing changes at that point too, and since then lifesteals felt a bit meh. People have not been going towards that option very much, and so we want to encourage people to at least try it again, especially because the starter is getting a couple of buffs here, in that it's getting increased lifesteal from 4% to 6%, and you're getting an increased mana restore from 6 to 8 every time that you hit an ability.
Shroud
you'll
on
get
what
some
god?
more mana back, which will be nice.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if we move to the upgrades, these were also another one of those lifesteal changes. Blood Soaked, the first one, is getting the lifesteal change from 10 to 12%.
I've seen a couple people use it
so
on
again,
Anubis
up
for
2%.
sure.
And then the magical power is also going
On
up
Hades?
by just a little bit, just to make it overall a little bit
Increased
more
magical
healthier
power
stat-wise
from
for
80,
that late game
85,
part.
increased lifesteal
And then
from
Sacrificial
10 to
Shroud,
12.
which is generally the more popular item. We wanted to be careful about the power on this
Use
one
it on
because
Hades
of
and
the
on
increased
Soul?
damage aspect of it, of course. But this also is getting that lifesteal change. So even though you are paying some health to
I can't remember
gain
which
that
one it
extra
was, but one of them
damage
actually
ability,
hurt
you
you
will be
every
able to
time
get
you
a
did
little
damage.
bit
That's
more
why I
back.
didn't like that one.
Awesome.
I thought it was
Sounds
a
good. I like
sacrificial
Anubis
one.
player,
But did they
all
take
about the
that
life
aspect
steals.
out or
yeah.
something?
Ever
Because that
since
was
you could
stupid
walk,
as hell.
we've been best friends. But to kind of shift a little bit, let's talk about Absolution. CC immunity on it's getting a little love.
So like we said, we've got some of these general items now. We're not going to be going through all of them, but Absolution was one of the ones that it never quite took off. It's honestly one of the ones that we were, I wouldn't say the most concerned about, but one we definitely wanted to have an eye on when we were working on it internally. CC immunity is not something that we take lightly. And I think one of the internal dev numbers, I think might have been actually double at 2 seconds. Or something like that.
It was very high when we tested it.
Yeah, we found the middle ground of the 1.5 seconds. We want to try this out, see how it feels.
Yeah.
But we do think that there is a break point, and if this gets too good, it's going to be picked up all the time. So, maybe we need to look at the stats some more later on, but we think the passive does need a little bit of help. And we do know that if it gets a little bit higher, it can get too strong.
Got it. All right, continuing down the A train, we have Aussie.
Yeah, so Aussie is kind of another one of those hunter items that has fallen off in recent metas due to, again, the lifesteal changes and a shift to it that we did
they added,
rather recently to make it more of a high power item to slot better
5
into
more attack
Transcendence
damage
builds versus Death
From
Power, which
those?
is more of your
Yeah,
basic
for
attack
sure.
oriented build.
Increased
But
passive
anyway,
health
Aussie
threshold.
was just not the easiest option to go in that second
Sigh.
slot because it did lose its pen in that interaction. But in this kind of change here, we're hoping to give it a little bit more excitement to actually go in that second slot by making it a little bit cheaper, 50 gold, but also, again, boosting that power to 45, which is no joke.
Oh, no.
It's no joke now. You might look at 45 power and go, that doesn't feel like that much. But
Yeah,
when you look at a lot of the more expensive items and they're hitting
that's a lot,
50
dude.
power, 60 power, 45 is
the power stats
really close to
up
that.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that does
Is what?
actually help it quite a bit. And the last thing that we're
Freaking
doing to
Deathbringer went down
Aussie
to
is we're
35
increasing
or
the
something
passive health
stupid.
threshold from 50 to 60, which we've done a little bit across the board just to experiment with how this feels. And generally, it has been very exciting to have that a little bit more often, have that feeling of extreme, I can fight back now feeling. So we are excited to see how that works.
Super cool. Love to hear it. As we continue down the list, Erosion is next up. Also a little cheaper, getting some love.
Yeah, just a little bit of help there. Erosion's one of those items
Never
that
used that item either.
A lot of players want to pick it up,
Yeah.
especially when enemies have the shielding effects, but they just found it not to be as valuable or a little bit hard to use, right? So with a little bit of the gold shift, and now it just lets you feel
Just
less bad.
smile and wave, boy.
But also,
Smile and
more
wave.
specifically, the raise increase means it just is a little bit easier to apply at all times. We want to be very careful not to have it just be the basic attack range, which is 55 for the range basic
that
attacks,
one.
Yeah.
because that's just on all the time. Like that's just an aura
Yeah.
that's hard to come to like circumvent. This still should require a little bit of like a counter.
Yeah, that's my
mechanic.
favorite
if
one. You don't know how
if
long it
only
took
wanna
me to
affect
make that
someone
little
and
meme,
stop their
dude.
shielding, you have to go towards it.
Yeah,
You
you
can't
gotta-
just
I
be
put so
around
much work
vicinity.
into that one.
So we think these two shifts there will really help Erosion feel better at all angles.
Well, I've always loved its card art at least, so I'm super happy. Super happy. I don't know. It's really cool. I love
It
that
does
like
look
dark
really
and
sick.
green. Like I absolutely adore it. So next up, Mail of Renewal on the change list.
Yeah, so this was another support item that kind of fell off a little bit with the introduction of Prophetic Cloak at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Healing got a bit of a change, which also knocked it down a couple pegs. So we wanted to make sure that Mail of Renewal kind of had a little bit of a place. And so we are kind of doing a little bit of a squish here where you get less stacks. We're increasing the amount of protections per stack,
Okay.
and we're decreasing the internal cooldown of the heal. So theoretically, it will be not only easier to get the
I've
big
never
heal,
used this
it will
item,
be
but it looks
happening more
interesting.
frequently in
Got it.
theory. So it will
Yeah,
generally
it's
just
starting to
happen
look.
more often.
It's
so
starting
you
to
can
look
really
a
feel
little
that
bit
strength
better. I've
with that
never
heal.
used it.
Awesome.
I've never
Hey,
used it.
Guardian player, love to hear it. So
Well,
next
you
up,
won't
I'm
love
trying
to
to
hear
think
this.
of what god that would be good on. Maybe
it looks like we sharpened Toxic Blade a little bit.
you
Yes,
know how I've
exactly.
seen in
Toxic
arena in a
Blade,
long time is
it's gonna
Hercules,
be
dude. Does
still-
nobody play Hercules
so-
anymore?
Toxic Blade has
I was
where
gonna
do
say,
we
that
want
might
to start
work
with this
on
one?
Hercules.
Yeah.
Toxic Blade is an item
Sylvanas?
that I think the community and is a little bit split about still in which the directions that it can go. Every time we revisit it and look at its stats, look at its price point, it's still just like it's very stat efficient. What it does and its passive
I don't
that
use
it has
Toxic Blade
is
either.
still very good. There's a world where if we just trend along this lines and make sure that it feels appropriate for
There's
what
just
it
so
has,
many other
it
items you
will
can use other than
be
Toxic
worth
Blade,
picking up
dude.
for what you're trying to do with the anti-heal effects. However, we
Like
know
it
that
has,
there
like,
are other
no
options out
attack
there.
power at all?
By
It's
increasing
like,
its pen
meh.
and not just like providing physical and magical power in abundance. We're trying to make sure that it feels like it's the right choice for the aggressive characters that who want to pick it up, whether it's going to be the in-hand warriors.
Some
or,
people like it.
hunters
I
or
don't
even
know. I
mage
just don't like
ADCs.
losing that much attack
Alongside
power.
some of the other options, if you don't want to go Divine Ruin, if you don't want to go like Brawler's Beat Stick or anything like that,
Yeah.
you have a good basic attack focused item. We're going to keep workshopping on this one if we think that this didn't quite hit the mark. We're not going to blow this penetration to like 50 or anything like that, just to keep along the same lines. But we do think that there's a successful path for this item along its current routes.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, it
If
got
we're wrong
boosted
and
last
we're
update?
proven otherwise, I think that's something that we can
What
definitely
did they
admit
boost
and
on it?
look
Did they
into.
give it any attack power? I don't
I mean,
remember
hey,
seeing
if
no
there's one
attack
thing
power
that
on it.
I always love about, all of us in general, but y'all's team who do a lot of this balancing work, it's that you take feedback very directly. And every time the community has something and they're like, hey, listen, like, this needs to happen. This item needs to be, this god needs to be, whatever. Y'all are really good at looking at that and working with it.
Yeah, we'll
So,
see. If they
it's
take out
something I've
that
always
bonus
respected about your team.
bonus
I
thing
like,
round
with
in the
how many
arena,
things
then
you
I'll
have to
believe that.
juggle, being able to take all of this feedback and like
They
make
got
it
a
live
lot of
is-
feedback on
it's
that. Hell, they got a lot of
impressive.
feedback
So
from
I'm
me,
in
and
this
not only
huge
that,
fan.
I did a video on it
So
telling them.
moving out of items and into gods,
Ooh.
this makes me laugh because I do writing for the show. I write the update
Oh, they added
notes,
more
but
pin
they
on it?
come from all of the cool balance that these people work on. And when we get this document that starts going over what we're going to change, what they're looking at, usually they sort it into sections. We have like some buffs, some nerfs, this and that. And the header for this time around was gods spicy changes.
Yeah.
And it killed me. So next up we have some spicy changes.
Oh, crap. Here we
I
go.
was writing that part and I was like,
Here
I
we
don't know if there's
go.
a better way. These aren't reworks. These aren't like heavy. Like these are heavy shifts. They're just spicy. And in the season of celebration where we're cooking up a storm, I thought this was still just the right thing.
Yeah,
to
we
do.
gotta put some spice, somewhere else.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh
Gotta
no,
spread the love.
they're trying to
As
grease
the
this
past
up for
post blog
something.
post
They're
might
about to
say,
kick us in the
these
nuts.
changes and the classic clumsy preamble.
Here it comes.
These
I
changes
feel it.
aren't.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly. They're not reworks. They're not on the heavy shifts. It's something like we did, for ESET or Longshan or anything like that. But they're close. They're the next best thing. They're spicy god balance.
They certainly are.
We wanted to target some of these characters who might be underperforming or also are underutilized and aren't picked up as much as frequently. Some of these gods have slightly changed since we worked on this list, but for the most part, we felt pretty safe on just breathing new life to these characters in simple enough ways.
Dude, just
Some
get
of
to
these
the
changes
point.
are a lot more simple than others. Some of these changes are heavy on the spice factor, and you're going to need some ice cream
Certainly.
or milk after it.
Awesome. Well, hey, I love
bonus round.
I love big changes. You know, I love when things change. So let's dive head first. There's a whole bunch of stuff for each of these, and we're just gonna kick it off with Apollo, kind of in the hunter.
Apollo. Yeah, I haven't seen Apollo in a minute.
So Apollo is a very old hunter, right?
That's true.
He's from what?
Looks kind of young, but you know.
Well, not age-wise, but age-wise. Yeah, so he's one of the oldest hunters in the game, and so we wanted to just give him a little bit more.
So he gets a Griffin earring,
for lack of a better term, right? So let's start off at the beginning with Audacity.
Okay.
So normally how this works is you get a couple basic attacks, you charge up your passive, and then your next couple shots have increased attack speed. But we wanted to give it a little bit more than that, so now those shots also have increased basic attack projectile speed. So they come out faster.
So, you know, something you might have seen like Griffin
Are
Wings.
you even going to notice that on that?
Putting that into the
I
kit.
don't know,
Yep.
dude.
And then additionally on top of that, so beautiful, this is the one, this is your main clear.
Yeah.
And also your poke, so this projectile speed is going up as well from 110 to 150, so you're not really going to know what those numbers mean per se, but it's a noticeable amount faster. It's not like a scary amount, like you can still definitely react to it, but it's a lot more I do this and I'm done. You don't have to worry about like I have to get really close to them or really account for it. This is a little bit better as a ranged poke now than where it was before. You had to be a little bit closer for that projectile.
Because if this stacks with that Griffin earring, it's going to be like a freaking Gatling gun, man.
We do also just want to give it a little bit more of that poke potential towards the late game. So we're increasing that scaling by 5%.
Nice.
All right, let's move on. Serenade. This is the 2. This now also provides Apollo magical protections as well as the physical protections. This actually was a feature that Apollo had all the way back in beta. And
in beta, right?
And now it's back.
Those are some pretty good buffs
we
for
looked
Apollo.
at the change,
I'm
we're
not
like,
gonna
this is
lie.
something that we can add.
I haven't seen Apollo
did he
in
ever
like
have
forever.
like
He did. He did. I went into it and I was like, okay, when is this?
I want to try the
Nice
Griffin
roll,
earring
nice
now on
roll,
him with
nice
this new update, just
Like
to
an
see how
hour
fast
later.
he can go.
And we saw, yep, he did have it. So we will be giving him equal amounts magical protection.
Yep.
Got it.
So, you know, he's... And finally, for Apollo, Across the Sky. This ultimate is a lot of fun when you get to ride around in the sky and...
This thing's my freaking
So we've
Bluetooth
decreased the
screwing
landing
everything
time by
up, dude.
0.2 seconds, and that might not feel like that much time, but believe me, when you're crashing down into the middle of 5 people, that extra 0.2 seconds will mean a lot.
Yeah, it changes.
So additionally, on top of that, we didn't want the damage to actually change for that, so we changed the tick rate down, or rather, we increased the tick rate, but the actual time per tick went down. So you're still doing the same amount of damage. The ticks are just coming a little bit faster. Knock up totally unchanged. And then additionally on top of this, the mana cost has been decreased pretty significantly at the late game. Only a small amount at the early game. So you will be able to fly around a bit longer. You won't have to really be kind of stuck into that Transcendence build. If you do want to fly around a lot, you can kind of do it without having to worry about going into a mana item.
Got it. I mean, all of that was pretty crazy, because to see damage changes
those are some
and
very
cooldown
big
changes, that's very
updates
standard
for
balance.
Apollo,
That's
dude.
bringing
That's
things in to
huge.
make them as even as possible. But when you get into stuff like projectile speeds or like the speed of your landing,
that's not something that we typically do.
those are
Berserker shield with Shogun armor.
Spicy. All right, well, let's continue on with another hunter. We have Chernobog.
Yeah, Chernobog, not as
I haven't
old,
seen Chernobog
but
too
one
much
that has
either.
like a couple of
But see, this is the
points of
problem, though.
weakness, per se.
Hunters
And
right
it's
now
not always
do
that we
more
want
damage
to,
than anybody
cause
in the
those
game.
weaknesses to
So,
just be newfound strengths.
dude,
But
they got to
sometimes
be
that we just wanna
careful
make
how
sure
much
that
they
we
buff
tweak
these
those
hunters. Don't get me
weaknesses so
wrong.
that
I'm
we
a
can
I'm
make
a
his
hunter
playstyle
main
just
and
feel a little bit
a
more
mage
fair
main,
at all
right?
times.
So, I mean, to
and
each
to
his
kind of
own.
just balance
But
the character to make them feel
hunters are
slightly
going to
more
get
well-rounded.
really nasty.
So crystallized curses, something that we've played around with a little while ago. We're going to just make sure we kind of make this feel the best we can. In this circumstance, we're increasing the projectile speed, similar to Apollo's one.
Yeah.
The crystallized curses, the first ability, will be increasing in its deploy
This
time.
ability now slows
getting to
enemy
the
by
ground a little bit faster.
25%
in
for
2 different ways. The
seconds
projectile
on
speed's
initial
increasing as well
hit.
as the minimum air time is decreasing. So that way, if you're just doing it right underneath by your feet, it's getting to the ground even faster. The collision radius is actually going to be increasing a little bit, 20 to 25.
Man.
This just means that when you're using your second ability to proc that first one, you can actually just do it with a little bit more room. You don't have to kind of like line it up perfectly.
Yeah, so the visuals are not changing at all, but it will be slightly easier to hit.
Yep. And then, so this one's an interesting one. This ability will now slow enemies on the initial hit specifically, not on the secondary hit, but on the initial hit. And this can kind of help, whether it's in team fights, just provide a little bit of CC,
that's gonna
or
be
if
very
you want
lethal.
to get someone in a good circumstance, or maybe even like delay and
Dude,
get your 2 into that scenario where you can
They're just adding more CC to the freaking game,
this
dude.
is also going to be
They're
a shift
adding more
because
CC
actually
to the
this slow's been
game.
removed from his third ability into
dude,
darkness.
they need to be taking
so,
away
some
CC,
of these
not
spicy
adding
changes
more.
aren't always just buffs. They're actually just playing around around with a kit.
Yeah.
So Into Darkness' slow has been removed, and in exchange, it's you're actually going to be traveling a little bit faster.
The only way that could have been any worse if it had a freaking taunt
and the
on it,
damage
too.
itself is going to be going up.
Been like a Donzo.
Also, finally,
Saki.
Vicious Barrage that attacks him. We've shifted the duration here. So again, a shift, not just a ubiquitous buff, from 3 to 5 seconds to 4 seconds at all ranks. And the reason why is because we actually decreased the cooldown by 5 full seconds, from 12 seconds to 7 seconds, decreasing the mana cost alongside with it. And the idea here is that, you know, you're going to be having less uptime or less uptime of the actual buff itself in the late game, but you can just do it more
12 seconds to
frequently.
7
You can kind of
seconds
just get
cooldown?
because it's not just in attack speed sim, it's also just that large travel through projectile as well that is acting
that
like
does
a
basic attack damage,
So you can just do that loop even faster. You're kind of just weaving that in more often in between your actual ability kit.
Awesome.
So kind of just a shift in the way he plays and not just, you know, just core strengths.
Yeah, super cool. And again, continuing to be spicy. Looks like we're kind of getting out of Hunters now and moving into the Assassin zone.
Yes.
So starting with Arachne, we got the spiders in the battleground.
Yes, Arachne
You know, I haven't
is
seen
a
Arachne in a while
notorious
either, now that I
character
think about
amongst
it.
the Smite
I love
Balance
playing
team.
Arachne.
She is a pub stomper through and through, but when it comes to late game team fights, she really struggles. So our main goal with this was to give her a little bit more flexibility when it comes to those late game fights and to have extra tools going into you know, actual team fights that's not just picking off one person at a time and then running away. But first thing that we want to talk about here is Cocoon. So this is going to sound really scary when I said it at first, but just hang on a second. Hang with me here.
Okay.
We are decreasing the amount of hits that is required to stun from 3 to 2. And you might say, that's insane. It is very good.
It is crazy.
The thing about Cocoon in its current state in Live Smite is that when you complete that stun, you lose the attack speed stim. And that happens regardless of what you hit, as many Arachne players will know. But now, the actual stim will not go away until, you know, it's actually fully done. You know, you can activate it, it's going to stay for the entire duration. But again, because it's changing, we want to decrease that stim from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. So now you keep that attack speed the whole time. You do stun after 2. If you miss any of those shots, you know, you're done. You can't stun anymore.
Is a long time, dude.
You keep the stim at the very
4
least.
seconds when you're getting your butt handed to you is a lifetime, dude.
Yes.
Not really stunning people at the end of your
6 seconds was a lifetime, but even 4 seconds.
So no matter what you hit after 2, you can no longer stun, but you are going to keep that attack speed stim, same values, for 4 seconds, which is very nice.
I might have to do a
Web
Arachne
as well
video.
is going to be another interesting change where, you know, this is maybe the ability that you max last.
Oh, wow, they
depending on
added
the mode
another
that you're in. So
Broodling
generally
too.
want to make sure that she has a little bit more potential to
that's
you know,
very
set them
OP,
up
dude,
and really
for
use
sure.
them as traps versus, you know, just escaping and running away.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen here is that the number of broodlings that you spawn will go up at rank 5 of this ability. So very, very late game when people are going to be able to kill the broodlings. You know, if you are up against an Arachne, just be prepared for the 3 versus the 2.
Yeah.
But again, rank 5 will be 3 broodlings instead of 2.
Wow.
And then finally, Nightcrawler, the ultimate. The leap range will be from 40 to 50 now. So while you're up in the air, you can leap a little bit farther. This is just really going to open up a lot of new pathways for ganks over walls that you previously couldn't before.
Yeah.
Or if you're trying to gank and
Better
get out, this is
escapes,
going to be a
too.
little bit easier to do then as well.
Super cool. Hey, you know, Arachne's not somebody I play all the time, but every so often you have one of those Arachne games, and it just feels good. So I love to see a win for Arachne.
I don't think she
next
needed
up,
any puppy
Pele,
there, to tell you
another
the truth.
assassin on our list.
I mean,
one's more on the
I
simple
play her,
line,
so
like two different changes, but I mean this first
but
one's
going
really,
against her
really
is gonna be a
spicy.
nightmare, dude.
Pyroclast, that's that first ability, is now going to provide 5 to 9 fuel on successful hit of an enemy.
Okay.
And just waiting for the
Any
ball
enemy.
to drop for the people listening.
Yeah.
Right? That means, you know, you previously didn't have a generator other than just time itself.
Yeah,
so when
waiting.
Pele is using that third ability, it's draining. While it's still draining, you can use and fire off that Pyroclast on any enemies, minions or
seems like
gods
they're
alike,
trying
to start
hard.
refunding that back. And the later the
People
game goes
over
on,
to
the more
play
that
the
refund's going to matter.
characters
So
instead
and you've got 2 charges
balancing
with
the
Pyroclast.
characters. Yeah, I
so
know,
you can
right?
refund even more.
Really get it out
Yep.
there.
So, you know, again, it's a simple one, but it's a large gameplay shift. It's like we want to make sure that Pele's are using the third ability and
That's
and
what I'm saying.
riding
They're
the
adding
volcano
more CC
often
to the
and-
game,
and
dude.
You can just
Arachne
weave that into
being
team
able
fights
to
without having to worry about
only
it
have
just
to hit
depleting,
twice to
as much as
CC
you
somebody,
currently are.
you're
And then
adding
finally, for the
faster
ultimate,
CC.
Volcanic Lightning, increase the number of those
If anything, they should have
empowered
made
hits
her
you get from
have to
3
hit
4.
2 more
It
times in
decreased
order
the
to
basic
CC
stack damage
somebody, you know what I'm
reduction, which it
saying?
actually does have
I mean,
on
even
those
though I
hits,
like playing her, it would've sucked
just by
for that
10%.
to
Just
happen,
a
but
small shift in the balance
seems
there
like they're going in
with the damage that you're
reverse.
dealing,
They're making
but you're getting
things
one entirely
harder.
new extra attack.
Yeah, so it definitely balances out and even gives you some, you know.
There's
leads back
already
to more
way
damage
too much
direction.
CC in the arena, dude.
Super
Look at
cool.
the stream that we just
all right,
did
we're
yesterday.
stepping out of Assassin Land
Half the
and
stream
diving
was
right
me
into
being
Mage
stunned.
Land,
I couldn't
with,
even play the
Raijin.
damn game. I was stunned half the whole game.
Where do we even begin with little
Half the whole
Raijin?
stream.
He once was a terror on the streets of Conquest.
In the past.
Once upon a time. He's fallen off a bit since then, and a couple of buffs here and there have helped him for sure. But fundamentally, we wanted to give him a little bit of a fresh look, and so this is going to be a very interesting change along the lines of Giannis and Serket, where Raijin will be gaining attack speed when you rank up your ultimate. And you're wondering, attack speed? Why am I getting attack speed? That seems strange. But the change to his passive that we've done here is that we are going to be giving him a new effect where every time he basic attacks an enemy, this can be a god, a minion, it can be anything, he gets non-ultimate ability cooldowns refunded by 0.2 seconds. So get your drums in, you know, you slam the drums and you do a couple more beats and you get your practice in and then you're back in ready to go more than ever. And that kind of does also feed into his cooldown nature.
I totally forgot he even existed.
So we wanted to give you a little bit of something to do between all of the times that you're channeling. So you're always drumming now.
Yeah. It's like a small one, but we're just like, what we're gonna do for Raijin? Well, what does he do? It's like, well, he hurts people. No, but what does he actually do?
Yeah.
He drums.
So we're just gonna make him drum better.
Yes. So now he's a better drummer for sure. But on top of that,
the funny thing about this guy, when I see him in arena, usually the person playing him is really good with him. I don't see really too many beginners playing him.
Feel like you're doing something with this ability versus
you're
trying to chase it down. At least if you hit it,
that.
You've done a little something. You've got your item procs or whatever it might be.
I'm sure they have the numbers on the characters that get played the most, and he's probably like one of the least.
Be able to hit it and then pop it, and if you miss the pop, it's not the end of the world. And then
Papa
on top
Yaga
of that,
doesn't get played much too, and she's powerful as hell. I don't understand that
slightly
either.
reduced pre-fire and setup time, which means that it will take you slightly less time to get into that immune state, so hopefully a little less interrupts for our boy Raijin, who seems to find himself in that situation a lot.
It hurts every time.
Yes.
Soul shattering.
Yes. So hopefully, he's not going to be crazy immune all the time.
Yeah.
It's 0.1 seconds, so it's going to be literally the blink of an eye, if not even faster than that.
Cool.
But that's Raijin, yeah.
That's Raijin? Okay. Awesome. So next up on the mage tree, Thoth. We got the scary bird.
Yeah, the scary bird. Not currently quite so scary.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, one that we wanted to be a little bit more careful about. Thoth is one of those mages that, like, he's probably one of the truest artillery mages or characters in our entire game.
Yeah.
And that has a very specific playstyle that we wanted to be careful not to interrupt. This one is a little bit more of just like a general balance that's very focused on making sure that twofold, like as the game goes on, Thoth continues to gain in strength, which is kind of the idea in that passive.
Yeah.
And in doing so, Thoth's going to be
stun
gaining
or root, wherever the hell it
percentage
is.
magical penetration instead of just the flat penetration.
Okay.
So game keeps going on. He's still getting better in that regard.
Yeah.
And also, Thoth struggles a lot in game modes where he's got to farm, specifically Conquest, honestly, where you've got the lane minions, you're hitting those gods, but you also need to dip into the jungle to get those.
Yeah, if my jungler's not on my red buff and I'm playing Thoth, I'm very sad.
Yeah.
Now Hieroglyphic Assault will be dealing additional damage to jungle minions specifically.
Okay.
So he's already got some of that gameplay loop for the gods and the different ways.
I guess that would help to get that big
first ability. Say that too often.
buff,
But
that
now
big demon
the
in the
jungle
middle
minions
of
themselves will be
arena.
taking more damage.
More
Outside of
damage.
that, Glyph of Pain, the third ability will be you're going to get just a small buff on the basic attack damage through the glyph, so kind of incentivizing you to actually play with that mechanic, which I don't think many people do right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is there, and it's not like I'm saying no one does. It's still important to do when you can, but now we want to just incentivize that playstyle a little bit
more and more work.
Yeah.
It also helps out in jungle boss objectives and stuff like that for your team.
Towers.
Yep, towers, absolutely.
True.
And then finally, the ultimate final judgment. Well, we just had wanted to reassess how good it was, and it wasn't quite reaching that level of spice, so we want to make sure whether it's civil abilities like Ra or even like Raijin with
Dude, not only did they add 20 more damage,
kind of bring
magic item damage.
Again, be aware that even with them in line, we fully understand that the final judgment going to the Glyph of Pain is still a good combo, and it should be because you're kind of setting that up.
Yeah,
so
it takes the effort.
But that's two abilities for one.
Cool. Well, fun fact: I kicked my bed frame the other day and made the
That's
same
gonna be
noise.
some nice snipes right there, boy. You're gonna be some serious. You're gonna be hearing some serious snipes
all
on
right,
that
so
one.
away from the mages and onto our solo laners. We have King Arthur getting some love, getting some spice.
Yeah, this might be the longest list of changes.
The longest list of well,
out
he's
of
got a lot
everything we've
going
done
on,
today.
so,
But
let's dive into it.
Yeah, let's dive in, shall we? So first up, Steadfast, his passive. A lot of people go, King Arthur has a passive? And I go, yes, he does have a passive.
It's a very good passive.
It's very good, actually, but we're going to make it a little bit better. We're shifting it a bit. So first thing that we're doing here is we're decreasing the duration from 15 seconds to 10 seconds. They go, learn
The
me.
season of buffs.
And I go,
I know,
yes,
right?
You'll see why.
Yeah, hold on.
Actually,
So the max
season
stacks
of
are also being
nerfs.
decreased
I
from
man.
from 4 to
Season
3, so
10
you
has
just have
been
to hit
horrible,
less
dude.
abilities now to get it fully
I think
stacked.
this has
which
been
is
the
nice.
worst season
So
of-
your damage
since I've been
mitigation that you
playing
get from
Smite.
this ability is also going up to kind of counteract that. So from 1% to 2.5%, so you would be losing, overall a little bit from having the stack go down and the duration go down. Now you just have a lot more mitigation overall.
Yeah.
On top
That new
of
arena,
that,
though,
though,
was a big plus. I'm glad
when
they did
players
that.
struggle with King Arthur, it usually has to do with the fact that he does not have any inherent sustain. He grabs lane aggro really easily, so you're getting beat up by minions.
Yeah.
So now, even if you're grabbing the lane aggro, every time that you're hitting an enemy with an ability, you're getting 5 HP 5 a stack.
play
So
with
again,
people
you
that
can
don't
have
know
an
how
extra
to play their
15
That's any guy,
flat
dude.
HP 5. I was going to say 15% would be a lot. But 15 flat HP 5 if you're fully stacked in lane, which, is not crazy, but it does help.
Over time, it's definitely going to matter.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They nerfed
And
everything.
that's
Now
just the first
they're
ability that
bringing
we've
it
worked
back
on
up
here.
on
So,
select
a lot
few.
of changes there, but we've got some more coming up. We've got Battle Stop, which is going to be having a kind of squish on the slow. So it was going 20 to 40. Now it's going 30 to 40. That's the blue stance 2.
Yeah.
A little bop, and then it is a little slow in a circle. Twin Cleave, which is the blue 3, is having an issue fixed where it wasn't properly applying the protection reduction of the proper amount, so that's now fixed. Is now
Which is
going
a buff.
to be
Yeah,
that
which
is a buff.
Inherently. Just
Inherently
That's
a
why
buff.
we didn't want to just put in like the bug fix section. Like this is a fixed buff.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Blade Storm, which is the yellow version of the 3, has its increased base damage per swing going up by 5 at all ranks on the actual spin part,
Yeah.
and then on the final spin.
Dude, that's
Nice.
going
that
up
doesn't look like
mostly
it, but
in
that's
the
a
late game.
very
It's going
big
up 5 in the early
buff,
game,
dude. Look
and
at
a
that
total
final
of
damage.
25 in
It
the
jumped
late
from
game. So you're
230
kind of
to
getting a little bit of a shift where
255.
the first part's going to help you out a little bit
That's,
more in lane. The second part's going to be a lot more useful towards
That's
the
pretty
late
big.
game where
Yeah.
you actually need that base damage a little bit more.
Yeah. Whew.
All right.
Lot of-
King
lot of-
Arthur.
that's
Let's
King
take a break
Arthur.
there. King Arthur. I mean,
months,
How many
yeah, for
abilities
sure,
does he
dude.
have? Did we hit all of them?
No, we definitely didn't hit all of them. But I guess
What
like
you're
the
predicting
post-amble
when
on
the
this
new
one
guy
also is just
comes
like,
out,
King Arthur,
attack speed,
a character. I mean, I
item's
love playing
gonna
King
get
Arthur.
buffed.
I just
Yeah, I
like
wouldn't
pressing the
doubt
W
it,
button
dude.
and face mashing all the
I wouldn't
abilities
doubt it,
in the incorrect or correct orders. But as much as we have seen him in the past, even with his, whether it's the item metas that have benefited him or not, he's never
I'm
really
surprised
been
Charon
strong.
did not
That's
get
okay.
more
Characters
nerfs
don't
than
need to always be
he's already
strong.
gotten.
But with the hybrid item shifts, with like the changes in the on-hit proc item stuff, he's fallen off a lot. So like this amount of love, it's something we want to just make sure we spread it throughout his kit. It's not really pigeonholing it on one component of it.
Yeah.
And to be completely honest, I would doubt all of these changes are going to push him to the point where he's going to be like 50% or above.
buff
And that's
tanks?
okay.
Yeah.
Not a giver god needs
Well,
to be.
he is like a 37%.
Yeah,
here.
he's
Mages
he's in a
just
rough
got hit
spot. But
so
like,
hard
we
this
just want to make sure
season,
that
dude.
it's not
just
the wrong
heartbreaking.
choice to play a character, right?
Yeah.
That's bordering where King Arthur is currently. So
Yes, he just has a lot
And
of
especially for how
variance
fun it is.
between new
Yeah, I haven't
players
seen
and
King Arthur
experienced
much in
players.
Arena, to tell you
He's
the
just a
truth,
difficult
man.
character to learn,
I
but once
can't
you
remember the
master
last
him,
time I
you feel
fought
really
a King
good.
Arthur.
He's a threat every time. Well, cool. Let's continue.
Because everybody's
on,
playing
then.
the same
Similar
damn
tree
CC
with,
gods as well.
Osiris.
I'm excited about this one.
All right.
yeah,
Do it.
this is pretty spicy too.
I'm
We've
excited.
talked about warriors in the past, and there's a lot to them, and we talked I think in the last patch about basic
Made
attack
some
warriors
mages
and how they've
build a
kind of struggled a
protection
little
item.
bit.
Oh, yeah.
Osiris has definitely been one of
Sure.
them through and through this year. He's struggled a lot, maybe even more so than King Arthur actually. And that's or alongside.
Well,
They're neck and neck.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
They at least share this.
They definitely share in that struggle for different reasons, but albeit Osiris has had a little bit of a struggle there. So
Yeah,
we want
nobody
to,
likes Osiris,
help
dude. He
him out.
sucks.
And well, the first one, it'll
Oh,
definitely
no, not
help, but,
Osiris. I'm thinking of
Fragments
the
is
other guy.
passive is going to increase the magical damage
Although I haven't seen
mitigation
Osiris too
alongside the
much
physical
either.
damage
He's a
mitigation.
pain in
so
that. That's the one that
1%,
links up to
2%
you,
they're
right?
kind of going
That's-
to be
I
matching
hate
there.
that, dude.
And also, when you have your full passive procs, you're going to have
Oleron,
actually
that's
your
what I was
attack
thinking
speed
of, Oleron.
increase by 20%. So playing on that in-hand, that basic attack motif. Now, the more spicy one I would say is like, well, Sickle Strike. That's his first ability that generally hits the first
I
guy,
very
first
seldom
enemy that it
see
hits.
Yeah.
Osiris
That's all it
in
does.
arena, but
It's
when
tough
I
to hit.
do, he's
It's
just
tough to
annoying
hit.
as hell. Because
And
for some
and
reason,
I
I'm
know
always
this
the
is the
freaking
pre-example
target of
this
his.
one. I remember
of his
being
little
told a
link
while ago,
thing,
like a
dude.
successful Osiris, you actually want to max your first one and just like forget the minions,
buff
just
in
box the
arena.
hell out
Yeah,
of the
he
enemy.
definitely
Yeah,
needs
like that.
It's challenging to do
That's-
that.
that's
It's
hard.
really
That's
hard.
not easy. Easy to say, not easy to do.
But now that projectile passes through minions and stops on the first god. It's a lot easier, but in an attempt to make sure that this still feels fair, because like we said, we're not just about turning weaknesses into strength.
He's fun to
this
play.
will still only do
I played him
50% of the
I think I
total
did a
damage.
video
So
a
you
long
still wanna
time
make sure
ago
that
on
you're hitting
him,
the enemy
but it
god.
had
You
to be
wanna
at
get
least
kind of
2
the
years
best,
ago when I
bang
did a
for your
video
buck
on this
there.
guy.
But his
If
clear
ever.
was never really the most obvious thing to do, and it was a little bit tough and kind of something that
I can't
just
remember the
got
last
better
time
and
I
better
played
as
him, to tell you the
the game
truth.
goes on, of course, like most warriors.
And he is known as a lane bully, right? But like it comes with being very strong and knowing how to manage the minion aggro, and this will just be a little bit better at keeping the aggro a little bit more balanced.
Yep. And finally, to help with that balance with the enemies as well, Judgment Tether, the third ability, will decrease the enemy's attack speed by 20%. So you're actually going to see a little bit of a swing there when you have your enemy tethered by your Judgment Tether and your passive is now fully procced. You get that 20% attack speed yourself. You're going to see kind of a fun little swing there. So, also on that passive note too, every time you use your ultimate, you get fully fragmented. So you can actually get that attack speed stim just by popping your ultimate.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, a super great way to win engages. If you have your passive ready, you have tether ready, get in there and fight and box with them, fight it out. Cool. Now we're moving into an area that I've always been a big fan of and continue to love seeing changes in. That's Guardians. So Athena is actually first on our Guardian list here. What's happening with Athena?
Dude,
yeah, so
Athena
is one of our bread and butter
tongue.
beginner Guardians that I would recommend to most players. If you want to learn how to play a tank, I would say Athena is your easiest go-to for that.
Guardians,
but when it comes to how she's doing in the higher ends of play, it's a little bit more difficult because the taunt is so predictable. The dash taunt combo, as you would think, is just, you see it coming from a mile away. She's got to charge it up and get in there.
Yeah.
So the main goal of this change was to give her a little bit more flexibility in how she applies her CC. And of course her safety as well when you're taunting people. So first thing that we're going to notice here is that
I have
preemptive
to be
strike,
right
her
on
dash,
people to taunt them.
is no longer
When I
gonna
play
have a
against
slow.
her, I'll be
You're
on the
saying,
other side of the map and people are taunting me. It's like, what the
I
hell,
wasn't hitting
man?
people with this anyway, to be fair. You dash in to the range where you could taunt and then you do it for the most part. In laning phase it was a little bit useful, but you'll see. Hold on. Just hold on for a second. Okay. Let me cook. Confound. This is the taunt. Okay. So again, in the late game, you're taunting a hunter. This hunter's just going to kill you.
Yeah, you're
taking 3-4 autos to the face. That's going to hurt.
You're taunting and trying to strafe to avoid that.
And then you're wiggling them, and your team's hey, I need to try to hit them. And it's not a very what's the word I'm looking? Intuitive.
That is nasty. 30%
so now
is
when
a lot.
enemies are taunted, their attack speed is decreased by 30%. So you're getting hit a little bit less often as the Athena is taunting someone.
Wow.
And now, the piece de resistance.
Oh, damn.
Shield Wall will now have a 20% slow debuff effect for 2 seconds when you hit both parts of this ability.
Okay.
Either part of that ability.
Yes. So you hit the initial, it slows, and then again it explodes after 2 seconds. So there's no way that you will have this slow on you. The first part of the slow for the second part. So it will only ever be 20%.
Yeah.
And then it will last for 2 seconds.
Yes.
So ideally, you could do the 3 taunt 3 combo, but you can also just taunt them into your 3, and that will still give you that slow. So either way that you do it, it'll work out.
More CC, that's what we needed, baby. More CC.
Yeah, it will still help.
Yeah.
That's what we needed. More
and
CC.
then on top of that, one more thing that we have here for Athena is Defender of Olympus. Now it has a new effect that the allied god that is targeted by this ability gains 20% movement speed. So you are effectively saying, I'm on the way. Get the heck in there.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I was actually really curious if you were going to say get the heck out or get the heck in. And that's the Lurby W play, right?
Yeah.
Get in there. I don't care if you're at 5% health. I want to be there and kill the enemy when you die.
Get me in there. It's for me.
Get me in there, exactly.
Freaking garbage CC, man.
Well, that's super cool. I love it. And yeah, I agree at the end there. It's one of those where it's that'll help them escape. Oh, that'll help them run in. It's really...
Well, that's the point. Exactly. You get to choose either one.
So super cool. Next up, another one of the we're talking old people in Smite. Another one of the OGs. We have Ares up in here.
Yeah, Ares, God of War. We wanted to make sure that he felt appropriate, especially there was a lot of push that we could have done here, but we wanted to make sure we felt fair. And I'm going to put this out there. If you guys want to see more of a buff on this angle, I want to push this even further. But Ares, he's going to get his general. His basic attack damage is increased from 38 to 40. Not very much, but on that same angle, Ares also gains base attack damage per level from 1.55. Sorry, that's actually in the wrong place, but that's part of his general stats as well. His basic attack damage per level was 1.55. Now it's going to 4. So that means as you gain levels, you're just going to be doing more in-hand damage. This is regardless of scaling. This has nothing to do with your power. This is just your base in-hand damage is just getting stronger. On that same note, Bolster Defenses has a little bit of a shift here. Its duration is changing from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, but that's because now Ares and allies that are hit by the Bolster Defenses actually gain basic attack damage while that effect is active. 0 at rank 1 to just make sure it feels a little bit fair from the get-go. It's not just a one-hit wonder, but going all the way to 20. So you can see with this theme, while there are other changes, we want Ares to just be helping his teammates and himself smack enemies with that sword a little bit more often, and that shield bash as well. Other things that's going to be happening, shackles. So
I'm
let's
not
see.
too
There's
happy
nukes. I
about
know there's some nerfs in here too.
2-second
I guess the last buff
reduction.
is no escape, the ultimate. 20% damage mitigation while channeling to try and
And
keep
they
him alive while that's
nerfed
going.
Yeah, we can get
his
it off.
damage
But we
on
wanted
his
to make sure
chains.
that we still were assessing the changes here, because this is honestly the god that we were thinking of when we did the first initial statement of Ares has seen a lot of change. We also did buff him in the last patch, but we wanted to make sure we still were in line with this kind of spicy god change that we were looking forward to. We just wanted to give him some help in the interim. But we're going to walk back a little bit on the shackles, decrease the god damage per tick from 25
Freaking garbage
to 5
CC, man.
per tick on that one to make sure that we hit him with some
the hell
shifts
does
because we
there's
wanted to
so
give him some
many-
love, and we understand that we also don't want to just bloat these characters or buff these characters to the point where they're just overpowered.
Exactly. And we're seeing a little bit of discourse on Ares as well, but he is kind of a one-trick pony at this point in time in current live Smite, where you hit the shackles and they die, and that's kind of the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
We want to give him a little bit more depth where you can kind of play this basic attack style and help, your basic attack team. And especially with his passive being based around auras, you throw Shoguns on there, you throw a Talisman of Energy on there, you are really powering up those basic attackers on your team. So giving him a little bit more flexibility to have that wider, ability to be powerful in other comps where you don't have to be, a roar and hitting every single Ares chain, to be a useful character, giving him other ways to be successful other than just
there's so many
being 3
streams
chains.
going
Yeah,
on.
other than being the chain guy. Well, hey, I'm all for it. I love the ability to get in some basic attacks. So any guardian change is good change. And speaking of, we have one more under the spicy category, and that's Kabrakan getting.
I'm excited by this.
Is this the craziest change in the whole patch?
This was one of the first ones. This was
This
one
was
that
one of the
honestly
first
set the notes. It's just like, well, who do we want to change? I want to let's work on some Kabrakan and another drummer boy in a different world. And yeah,
On the ground.
exactly.
Ground.
But yeah, so first up for Kabrakan is Tremors. This is the basis of every change that you're going to see.
That's
here.
right.
So
Yeah.
This is his 3 for those unknowing of the names of abilities, which, I don't blame you. There's a lot of abilities. But first things first, Tremors mana cost is getting doubled at every single rank. So it's going from 10 to 30,
It's crazy.
20 to 16. You're like, that is crazy. That is very, very high. But you'll see why. The cooldown of this ability is also going from 8 seconds to 3 seconds.
That's pretty short.
That is one of the shortest cooldowns.
Also going to
in
be
the
burning
game.
through your mana pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yes, and you're probably wondering, I'm going to have no mana. What
Right.
am I supposed to use my other abilities? Well, yes, you're going to be able to. Here's how. First thing that we're going to talk about, though, is that his base MP5 is going from 4.6 to 8, so it's
Almost
close
double.
to doubling,
Double,
pretty
yeah,
close.
that's a lot.
And he's also almost doubling his MP5 per level from 0.42 to 0.8.
Yep.
So you're going to have a lot more MP5, so that will just passively come back to you, but there's also an active component as well.
I just noticed
so
I had like
Refraction
3
Shield is getting a
stream
decreased
thumbnails on my
mana cost
freaking
from
out
high
there
numbers
posting.
to 10.
Yeah.
to 10.
Whatever number it was before at any
So yes,
level.
you do have to spend mana to use this ability, but it's
There
going to
we
be
go.
in
That's
just
better.
enough so that you can get additional mana back. And so you'll be able to refund Kabrakan 10 to 30 mana per hit of any enemies.
That's right.
Minions, gods, whatever you're hitting, you'll be getting mana back. So you can burn through a lot of your mana with Tremors, but you can
There you
also
go.
get it back really easily with Refraction Shield. And if you don't have anything hit, it'll come back with your MP5 as well.
Yep. Love doing that in lane because you just get like the 6 minions and they kind
Alright, there.
of tremor.
That's
They kind of
better.
like group up even a little bit.
Yeah, I
and
just
smack
noticed
them
on my
all with
Attack him
YouTube
and your
channel, dude, I
mana's
had
back.
like
Yeah, all
3
of your mana back.
thumbnails that said I was
Cycle.
live. I was like, what the
Hey,
hell?
as a nerd rage Kabrakan player, it's gonna be a lot of
That's
rage.
weird.
It's gonna be fun. So, all right. Well, that does it for the spicier of the changes. We're gonna go through some a little less spicy, still important, still good, but just a little
Can't
less
believe they
spicy
nerfed Ares,
changes
though, man. That
on the
kinda
buffs
sucks.
and nerf side.
I'm
And
gonna
again,
hit you with the post sample. One more thing.
please.
These changes, obviously, we were very cognizant about and cautious about doing changes like this. This is not something that we want to do all the time.
What's
This
up
is
with their
something that
shiny
we save
forehead?
for special occasion for characters.
They probably
that we
have
think
a light
definitely
on
need the
top
most.
is why.
We are definitely very understanding that
'Cause what
this
ends
is-
up
all of
happening,
these are for the most part buffs.
and I mean,
it's
if
gonna
you
cause
do
these characters to be stronger.
YouTube
They
videos
genuinely
and
all
stuff,
needed
you-
it,
you
and
have-
it's something
you
we're
can
going to
see
keep
this.
as we do with all balance.
They
but I
wear
wanted to do
eyeglasses,
a
right?
special disclaimer
So when
here,
you wear
we're absolutely gonna be
eyeglasses, you
keeping an eye
can't
on
put
what this does
light
to
in
these
front of
characters,
you, 'cause
whether
then
they go over the point of balance,
glare
whether it's perceived or
will
statistical.
a light will
And if we
ricochet
need
off
to,
their
dial
glasses.
things
You have these
back a little
big
bit, whether
glares.
it's part of these changes
So they got to
or
put the
alongside
lights at
it,
an
we will
angle
absolutely be doing
so
Yes.
definitely
you
hit us with
can't
your
see the
feedback,
lights in their
whenever
glasses. That's
PTS
why.
things go live or just from 3D crafting, and we're excited to
Yeah,
see what you
when you
guys
start doing
Yeah, and if
YouTube
you like to
videos
see
and
these
stuff like like that, you
they're
learn
gonna change.
about
We definitely would
lighting
love
and
to work on
pictures,
more
and
of
then
them.
so
They
when
do
you
take
see
some
stuff like
time
this,
in
you're
the
like,
kitchen,
oh,
though.
okay,
We
yeah.
do want to put a lot of
It's all
care
about
and
angles.
effort into
So
making sure that these
since the
changes
light's
actually
like
feel
coming down
good
like this,
and
that's what's
don't
making their
break
foreheads
things,
look
you know,
like glow in the
fundamentally with
dark.
the kit, because some of these characters are old, right? Sometimes that you know, different hands being on characters that have passed through the generations of Smite developers, you know, sometimes will not be able to do everything that you wanted to do. But you know, we like to work with what we have and kind of get a
They're
little.
getting good at pissing off
what's the
players,
word?
dude. That's all
I can't
season
even think
10.
of
What are
it.
you
You're
talking
getting
about?
a little spicy with it.
Exactly.
The new arena is the best thing that
We're
they've
not hitting
done
these gods arbitrarily.
in
That's the
season
main
10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a lot of testing to actually go through and like, can we do all these cool things? Like, will it work? Will it feel good? We had, you know, weeks of testing that we were like, okay, let's pick Ares to test. Okay, let's pick a bracket. Let's just like make sure that we're people having lots of different people try. We had the esports casters come in and try this,
right.
so we had all kinds of eyes on these changes as well.
Yeah, every skill level, we have people who are like, you know, I've played Arena 6 times. We're like, come try this out. We want to know how it feels on somebody who doesn't play the game as much. And then it'll be the casters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's crazy
all
the
these
amount of work that
changes
goes
are like,
into
when's
it,
the last time you
amount of
played
listening
Arena?
we do to the community
2
to
years
try to-
ago?
try to
It's
figure
like,
out
how
what we
about
can
you
change to make y'all
do
have
these
the most
changes and
fun.
test
But
in
again,
Arena
at the end of
before
the
you
day,
go
that's
live?
what
How
it's
about
about,
that?
You know, is how can we make
Freaking
this as fun as
clowns.
possible? So
They just
thank you
admitted
for
it.
the
They're doing
preamble. I love
changes without even
preambles.
testing in
so
the
this is
freaking
premium
arena.
spot, pre and post ambles,
And mid ambles.
and mid ambles too. We should coin that.
Oh
All
my
right,
lord.
so let's
Freaking
get into
clown
some more
fest,
general
dude.
buffs and nerfs. I'm gonna say it again. Patch notes might not be live right now. Probably not. They want to be live. We're trying to get them live.
Just like
but
will them into existence like they are right now.
I'm working on it. Well, I've printed out I was gonna print out like 70 million copies and ship them to everybody watching the show, but I like trees,
Freaking
so
clown
sorry.
fest.
Well, fair enough. You know,
Yeah.
Sylvanas is thanking you.
Yeah, exactly. I did it for him. So anyway, they'll be up. These aren't all of the changes. You'll be able to look over more of them when those notes are able to go live. Whenever we fix the internet, one band-aid at a
fix
time.
it.
Working on it. But here are a few of them that we thought were worth talking about, starting with Amaterasu.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so Amaterasu. Last patch we did. I feel like I'm doing a recap. Last
If
patch.
they buff her,
Last patch.
Hey, it's a Lurby preamble. Let's go.
Last
if they
time
buff
on
her,
Update
dude.
Show.
We had a couple items that saw some changes for our basic attack warriors, but Amma was still kind of falling behind the pack. She was not really keeping up, even though we did buff basically all of her items. So we wanted to give her individually a couple of buffs as well. So first things first, Illuminating Strike's debuff duration is going to be increased from 5 seconds to 6 seconds.
Okay.
So not only is the actual like circle debuff area going to last longer, but you now have more time to actually apply that debuff.
Yeah.
By 1 second, so you know it's not crazy, but it is significant. And secondly, Divine Presence, this is her one. On use, whenever you are healing, so, you know, when you use that ability, you get a tick heal, basically over time. Amaterasu will gain attack speed for that whole time that you are healing. So when you change the stance, you get 4 seconds of attack speed, and then once that healing is done, you no
like
longer
she
have the
needed
attack
more
speed.
I just love
freaking
just like, you know,
attack speed, dude.
We've identified god buffs and like spicy god buffs, and even just giving Amaterasu attack speed on this didn't quite hit the
Yeah.
spice factor.
Yeah,
right?
it's-
you had the salt, but you didn't have the
It's
pepper.
close.
Yeah.
It's very
close.
close. It's not quite there.
You sure shit up, but you forgot that last little bit. So, but that's
Yeah,
still a
until
good
she
change.
ults you,
Awesome.
you're stunned,
Next
and then
up,
she goes
one
into
of
her
our
one and
favorite
just
little
beats the
tricksters,
crap out of
Maui
you, right?
actually getting
Come
some
on,
good
dude.
Yeah, Maui god that has definitely entered the battlefield and was striking pretty hard,
Yeah, left a
showing up
presence.
everywhere. But even at the times where he was at his strongest, he was one of those characters
Increase
who
the
just like
cooldown
never was actually
of this
doing that
Master
strong
Fisherman.
for the masses, for the casual players. Honestly,
2
sometimes when we
seconds,
say
wow,
things like
that's
this, we don't just
huge.
mean for the casual players or for other game modes.
And then they
we also
increase
just
the
mean for,
damage by
even like the
20
ranked conquest players
points.
all the way up to
Wow,
like
that's a
masters.
big-
or
that's
something
a
like that.
big
He was
buff,
just-
dude.
He was there a lot, but he might
That's
not have been doing
definitely
too
a big
well, so
buff.
we needed a little bit of love, and we wanted to make sure we spaced that to the time that would be appropriate. So
Yeah.
Master Fisherman getting a cooldown decrease from 16 to 14 to 14 to 12. That's 2 seconds at all ranks. It's pretty
yeah, that's
sizable.
great.
Increase the damage as well from 100 to 360 to 100 to 380. So nothing in the early games where you're getting a lot of benefit from that cooldown, but hitting for the late game and for the mid as well.
Yeah, a little more impact.
Mystical Ulua decreased the mana cost from 55 to 75 to 55 at all ranks. Just a simple one there, just so you don't feel as
Yeah,
punished
who
for
cares?
tossing the Ulua out to your teammates. And as you can see, simple changes there. We don't want to
Yeah.
go crazy with Mao. We know he still has a lot of potential. That ultimate is still fantastic for team fights, but just get him a little bit more in line.
Yeah,
Super
exactly.
cool. All right, so next up, we have Charon.
Yeah, so this is a nerf. Just to clarify, we're heading into
we're
nerf
on the nerf
territory.
side.
I knew it was a matter of
Caroline
time.
has been surprising us. We're so excited to see people excited and playing him up in the ranked, but he's doing really well in basically every
I
single
knew it was
game
coming.
mode.
What'd I tell you,
Turns out
man?
Boat's OP.
Yeah, he's pretty good, and a lot of that comes with his safety. But the first thing that we want to talk about here before we get to them is Damnation, which is the attack speed slow circle that reveals and shields, all that good stuff. But we are going to be decreasing that attack speed slow from 30% to 25%.
Okay.
Just make it a little bit less annoying in lane, especially because it is an ability that comes up relatively often. It is kind of hard to hit, so you do have to hit this kind of medium-sized circle.
Yeah.
But when it does hit, we want it to be just a little bit less effective. And now, finally, we can talk about his safety.
Safety. The
So-
paddle.
Swift Voyage, when he just paddles like mad.
Yeah.
This cooldown was 15 seconds for a 2.5 second channel, but now it's going up to 17 seconds, down to 15 seconds at rank 5. So he still will get to that same late game safety level where he probably needs it the most, you know. But in the early game, he will not be as safe. It will be 2 seconds
17
longer
second
on that cooldown for him
Holy
to paddle
crap!
away.
And then early game when you don't even
Oh,
have your
Yeah,
cooldown
however you-
reduction
yeah.
yet.
This was almost a spicy change.
Dude,
because I recommended that
17
we drill
seconds
a hole in
early
the bottom
game
of the
compared
boat.
to
Hey,
17
you
seconds
need
late
that.
game
Every
is
17 seconds he has to scoop out.
two
but
different
shot down,
stories,
but
man.
Maybe next.
Sounds amazing.
Don't do
Because
that.
by then you have at least 30%
That's true, I do
cooldown
love the
reduction.
boat.
17
All right,
seconds
next
early
on the
game,
list,
you're struggle
Yeah,
busting.
honestly, not one that I thought would be on this list anytime soon,
yeah,
and
right?
one that
A
I'm
little
still
crazy.
surprised is there. A guy that we've been trying to
Wow.
buff throughout the year, and he finally reached that point. Whether it's the item changes, I think they were a pretty big help with the shifts on the tankier builds. But once people started playing him, the stats shot up. He has been doing very well. It's quite the opposite. So that would make me think as well that like a little bit is just the hesitance to I put this very lightly, but the hesitance to try him, hesitance to do something a little bit out of the mold, because as soon as people started doing well, even though the items themselves got nerfed, he remained doing still quite well,
doing good.
past any of the god buffs that we ever gave him. So just a very slight slap on the wrist here. Venomous Haze, that first ability, the spitting poison.
Wait, wrist? He doesn't have wrists.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
Slap on the. I was like, did I say something that I should have said? No. Slap on the tail that he also doesn't have. Slap on the noggin.
He does. It's just really far away.
Yeah, exactly. Decrease the base damage per tick from 50 to 55 to 10 to 50. So just 5 per rank per tick. Just a small hit there, just to make sure that he doesn't feel as oppressive, especially in the solo lane where you can just like drop this on the totem, drop this.
Totem, Bastion,
Yeah.
cooldown buff, any of those.
Insert objective in a
or throwing it all over the
radius
Stygian beacon area. And stuff like that. Like those are some of the reasons why it's good. Is just like the map and the macro has changed too.
Yeah,
he's been pretty favorable for those.
Yeah, little bonk to the danger noodle. All right, so that's it. No other.
No other changes. And as a preamble to this
They
one,
didn't take out
We
the
need a
bonus from that
preamble.
stupid
I'm
arena.
gonna let you take this. Why do you think I chose
Add-on.
this order, by the way? As Harrison
Come
said,
on,
these
dude.
aren't all the buffs and god nerfs that are there. These are just ones
That's
that we
true.
wanted to talk about during the season. They'll be on their patch notes show.
there's more.
Just because this section seemed small, it's not. But we still have one more nerf.
We do have one more nerf. Marty's getting nerfed.
Yeah, I mean, we're not surprised at this
Yeah,
point.
no,
I don't
we
really
do.
think we need
Y'all
to
asked.
explain why he's here.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about what is happening
Sure,
to poor little
please
Marty.
do.
So for his passive Monstrosity, we are decreasing the
Maricarus.
the attack speed, the lifesteal, both the
Maricarus.
ability and the regular physical lifesteal from
You haven't seen him in a while either.
0.7% per stack to 0.5, so going down quite a bit there.
Yeah.
Poison Barb, this is the 2, the root, will be on a 13-second cooldown at all ranks versus 13 down to 11. This is to give him a little bit less of that consistent CC, so he's got to really be careful about that combo.
Yeah.
And then the thing that everyone's been talking about, Death from Above.
It was.
So Death from Above does do a lot of damage, that is for sure. So what's happening here is the scaling per burst is going down by 4% per burst.
Nobody could
There's
ask
12
for it,
bursts.
especially
That is
not
a
the community as a
48%
whole.
scaling
Yeah,
nerf.
nobody asked
That
for
is
that freaking
a lot of scaling
bonus
that he's losing on that. And
freaking
additionally, the
death match
cooldown
at
is
the end
going
of the
from
arena.
90
I
seconds
don't know who
to
the hell
100
they talked
seconds.
to. Nobody
and,
that I know asked
yeah,
for it.
48% scaling
No,
is
no
definitely
arena
going.
mains
That is a
ever
lot.
asked
That is
for that crap.
maybe the biggest damage nerf that
Such
we
a
may
waste
have
of
ever done,
time.
other than like removing a damage from something. But it is a lot of damage that is going away from that ability. But
Super crazy because nobody asked for it. Like nobody's even talking.
I'm very
No.
excited to see how this shifts his stats.
Yeah.
yes,
if at all.
so we're keeping an eye on him. If he needs more nerfs, we will
better.
continue.
This is a lot.
That's
But
why I
this is-
say,
this
man,
is
you
a
guys should
very,
always
very,
give your
very large
feedback
nerf.
to
Yeah.
these people. You
It's-
can
he
give them
has-
feedback
this
on
might be
their
like a spicy
Discord.
God balance
You
on
can
the
get
nerf
feedback
section.
at their
He has
website,
wrist, and we slapped like 2 or 3.
their
of them.
Twitter, or now
He's got 4.
He's got 4.
X.com.
He's got one left.
I
Let
think
him
they
have
have a
his one.
Reddit
We're gonna
page.
Keep the
Always
one,
give their
but, we'll
feedback,
keep
dude,
an eye on it.
'cause
So
I know I do
cool.
all the
The last
time.
thing to say is there's some non-conquest change, but that's going to be on the patch notes. So just look at that when we get those out to you. It will be as soon as humanly possible.
Non-conquest change.
So now we're diving into one last thing, and that is the Odyssey event.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Get an
come on,
Odyssey
dude.
coming with the season of celebration, and what better way to celebrate than with an Odyssey? So for those of you unfamiliar, Odysseys are these huge, crazy events with a ton of cosmetics that go over like several updates. So this will be kicking off the season of celebration, and it will be around for a while. And it is also the event in which we feature our new T5 skins, and we'll be going over the skins in just a
new
moment.
T5 skin.
But like a
That's
lot of the other
interesting.
events, you progress in several ways.
Hopefully we get a
there are
Nox
rewards you can
T5.
unlock
That'd be
by
nice.
getting or by purchasing and
Or
rolling
Cerberus.
chests that are from event things. So look out for those. You can unlock free rewards as you move through the event by obtaining these event-specific skins. But there are also going to be quests that come out with this, and quests will release every week, and you complete them kind of linearly. So you have to complete quest 1 to get to quest 2, and they'll be releasing. No, I said every week. They're going to be releasing with new updates of this. They might be weekly. There's a lot of stuff written down, and admittedly, I've been so excited about getting to the skins and talking about stuff that my brain is a blur. I'm a Smite fan who's hyped up about everything.
Dude, we've been almost at this for
it's
2
just
hours
a super
now.
huge event
This is
with
crazy.
a ton of incredible content. I mean, our teams always go as hard as humanly possible to make all of this stuff incredible. So make sure you check it out. Like with all of these as well, there will be a buy all option right at the beginning, which is probably the
Bet
most
you there
economical
would.
way to get to the event because
I
you
bet
will be
you there
getting
is.
all of the content up front. So that's everything you see today and all of the content that's
Guess you're
going to be
going to
released
have
over
to
the next
learn
couple
to
patches
love
with
the
this
bonus
event.
round.
So if there's content that comes in a
hopefully not,
bonus
man.
patch, if
Hopefully
there's
not.
content that comes with the next patch, which there is, you will be
They're
getting
gonna
all of it
show
as soon
the
as
new
it drops.
goddess? No, they're
including,
not showing the
again,
new goddess
everything you're
today.
about to
That'll
see
be
right
next
up front.
update.
So let's dive into the first of our skins that we're going to show off, and that's Soul Shroud Charon.
Yay, Charon's first skin.
Got the boat,
Nice.
boy!
Yes, so this is a creepier take on Charon. I know a lot of people are very excited to see Charon be a little bit less jolly, a little bit less jovial.
Yeah.
This guy is full spook mode. He is a little alien looking, but he's kind of got this organic vibe to him as well that is super, super cool, and he certainly is scary.
I think
Look
if they
at
would
him.
have,
Yeah, I like that he's like.
if they
kinda
would
little
have
more
gave him a
armored up in
different
his
helmet
vibes,
and
like,
give him
you know,
more of a
this is-
skull look,
This
it
is
would
his
have
true
looked better.
battle attire, and whatever plane of existence this one is.
That's
creepy.
Yeah, you will be paying the toll.
The
You will
skin
be
looks
definitely paying
okay,
the toll.
except for
And,
the legs
I figured
and
for
the
this one it would
face.
be fun to
I'm
go
not,
in game and check
I'm
it
not
out.
too
First
happy
skin,
about.
you got to go in game for it.
Yeah.
The legs look.
Oh, there he is. He's got
Wonky.
the creepier water down
He looks
beneath
like
him
he had
there.
goat
Creepier
legs.
water.
It is. You know, the
Sticks
river
got
Styx,
even stickier.
Yeah, I think that's a
I don't
miss,
know.
dude.
But yeah, he looks sick. I just love all of the like illumination
Yeah, he
going
does
on
look
in the
sick.
boat
He
as
looks
well.
like he has
It just
COVID.
gives it this kind of like ghostly
That just-
fire
that missed the
vibe.
mark.
And
Yeah.
it's so cool. Look at that spirit that he's tossing out as well. I love to see it. And you can also probably hear that he is a little bit of a spooky guy. He may not finish all of his sentences in this skin because he's just so hungry for souls, you know.
That's
He's got to get some of those recipes, you know, from
Hey, there you go.
True. If you're hungry, you got to get the recipes. All right, let's we got to see the old. You know we got to see.
Big ult. Yay!
Ooh, the
Yeah,
water's
that's
so
a
much
miss,
darker,
dude.
Too. It's
They're
I just
getting
absolutely
lazy with
enjoy
these
it.
skins, dude.
I mean, I said this about Surtur. It stands for Charon. I say this every time we make a new god. But the boat was something I was excited to see.
Yeah.
Nah.
I was excited to see get the skin, and it looks super cool. And just like with Surtur and his giant rock, I'm
The
excited.
only
for
thing
what
I like
new
about the
boats
skin
we
is
see
his
in the
paddle.
future.
More
I
boats.
think his paddle
one is
looks
awesome.
More
alright.
boats.
So to continue down through the event, we have another skin, Shadowcaster Anubis.
This one is so cool. We had a human Anubis before. But this is kind
The
of
hell?
a
He looks like a
different
street
take
fighter.
on human Anubis. If he was this kind of like badass, like kind of thief vibe, and I love it.
I have like I say, sometimes when it comes to these shows, I haven't seen some of these like the card arts or even the skins at all because I'm not in some of the skin content playtests. But like, this is just sick. This is awesome.
It's a definite crazy take on Anubis. So to continue down the line, Neath
Looks
is
like a
showing up
character
with
off Street
Sharpshooter
Fighter.
Neath.
Ooh, this is more of like, you know, Neath usually has some like
Ooh.
cutesy
Looks nice.
skins.
Yeah,
Like the weapon she's using. Is
Yeah,
really
she
cool.
has
Yeah, it
like
looks
a
like something like
modified
Hansel and Gretel.
crossbow gun.
vampire slayer aesthetic to me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the middle of the night. You know, she's got
a
the
Hansel
bolt
and
ready.
Gretel
Maybe
look.
there's a little silver tip in there or something. You know, might be ready to hunt down
There's just
some
a whole
werewolves.
bunch of garlic
or,
in there.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
could be anything that she's hunting down. Probably you.
Oh, okay.
Watch out.
Well, especially that ultimate, she can go. with anyone.
That's true. She's hunting down whoever she wants to hunt down. Super cool. So next up on the list, Dragon Templar Ao Kuang.
Oh, I'm excited about these. So these upcoming skins are recolors of past limited Odyssey skins. So
that's sick.
It is the season of celebration, right? So you want to celebrate 10 years of Smite, many Odysseys, and this is one way to do it, is to bring back one of those super exclusive, well, I guess exclusive is the wrong word to use, but limited skins from a long time ago, and a new set of paint, really.
Yeah, true.
And you'll be able to get it.
Yeah, so part of the theming. These are some of the reward skins actually. So that would be this one and the next one, which is Infernal Blaze Agni.
This one is a super cool take on Agni. I think it's super cool to go kind of that like
oh my
necro,
lord, dude!
Like
it looks
kind
like a
of
flying
vibes,
booger.
or like the what is it? We have other themes that are kind of like this with the Soul skin too, or the Baron skin that's like a little radioactive.
Yeah,
it's
they
such a
got
cool
lazy.
look
These
it really
these
is.
skins.
I think the green suits him. Has the charming green smile too, which is offset by
not creepy at all.
No, not even.
Oh man.
So cool. And then last but not least, and this one is one that I'm super hyped about. I'm sure y'all have seen us tease it on our socials, but our new T5 Dragon Shifter Medusa.
Oh man, this
now
splash
that
art
looks
is
nice.
Kick ass.
It really is. It's a T5, as you can assume. There are 3 different versions of this skin. Each with their own dragons, because she is a dragon shifter.
It's a series of sisters. So all these sisters will change places when they battle.
Yeah.
And every time you ultimate, you'll see a new sister come out and go after their prey. And each of them have a different, kind of style of hunting. You've got the ferocious flame dragon. You've got the undead skeletal dragon. You've got the alien
body.
Kind of
body looks like a harpy.
Carapace dragon.
Which one's this
cool.
one?
This is the undead one. Just got kind of these bone race, and they
like
don't
the
have
Lich
even
King's
eyesight. These guys are
wife
creepy.
or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, her like the bones you can see through the material. That
one's kind of cool.
It's so cool. I adore this one. This one might be my
like
favorite. It's so hard. They're all
skulls.
so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the death variant, or the bone dragons as well.
Like see-through too, which is crazy.
And then here's our final variant, where she's kind of got that.
That one reminds me of the the Arachne
she's got a little
skin.
poison going on and just kind of flown about, and that kind of
Looks
ties
very
back
similar
to
to
the
the
Medusa
Arachne
too. That
skin.
has a little bit of that
Yep.
poisonous.
Even like the Gorgon sister vibes is such a cool like,
Yeah.
thematic tie-in. I like
Yeah,
that.
it really is. Super well done. And as with any incredibly well done piece,
Looks like a
which I guess
big
they all
skin,
are,
though.
but,
It
the
looks
T5
like
has
it's gonna
gotta
make
get that
her
in-game
really
too, so
big.
Oh, absolutely.
let's check it out.
Oh, and there
look
it
how
is.
big that is.
It's
That's
just so
a
crazy to
big
think like this is
freaking,
Medusa, It's
Yeah.
such a
model.
the concept is so far away
So I
from what
wonder
Medusa
that makes
looks
her
like at
hitbox
base.
bigger too,
It's
making
crazy
her
how thoughtful and
easier to
how,
get hit.
How many ideas we run through when we're making these skins.
Or
this
her
turned out
hitbox is just
so
on her body.
cool.
You know what I'm
Just
saying?
Like the most
Hopefully they thought
badass
about
like
this.
trio
Oh, they look
That's awesome.
really out there. Not to mention like the whole pet concept and like all the extra animation effort that had to go into
sick.
Medusa having legs. Can we talk about that for a second?
True.
Medusa doesn't typically have legs. Now she has legs, she has wings, she has a tail, she has horns.
Yeah, she looks
She
like a
got friends,
harpy.
and then, yep,
Oh,
you'll see.
sweet. I love that the ulti like color hue shifted middle like that's
Yeah, and I love that like there's the larger like I guess main dragon.
She looks like
head
a
or
different
huge one
character,
that
to tell you
Yeah,
the
she's
truth.
not showing all her secrets right away.
Yeah.
You gotta ult for that, or
Yeah, the
do the
blue one
special
does
emote
look
in every
nice.
single variant. You'll get that big boy coming out. But yes,
This one
they
kinda reminds me
summon
of
all
that
these
movie
various
Alien.
snake-like dragons, and they certainly are using them between every battle here. He's just a little guy. Look at the little guy. He's creepy, but he's a little guy.
It's even creepier when it's the tiny ones because they're all like hiding
Looks like
into a
Soul.
knot. and
Yeah, that's super creepy. I love that effects on there.
Yeah.
One looks pretty
So
cool. I like
obviously,
that
yeah,
one.
as y'all can see, you change.
That looks like
between
something
the
from like
sisters
Wrath
as
of
you
the Lich
roll.
King. That looks like a boss
It's
you
also
would
like
fight on Wrath of the Lich King.
Johnny, but it's the new sister coming in that's ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I did notice that. That's
It's just
crazy.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna have to try it out,
And
dude.
yeah,
Because
as
it
always,
looks like
our
her
effects
model's really
teams and our
big, so it'll
sound
make her
teams,
really
like,
easy to get
the
hit.
animation.
The animation.
You're
the tech are
definitely going to be able to be
required.
seen from outer space.
People
so
really
you're not
put their all
sneaking
into
up
this
on
kind
them
of
by
stuff,
for
and
sure.
it shows. And it's crazy too. Like I don't know a lot about.
Way
let's
too
go
big
with audio.
for
'Cause I
the
talk a lot
screen.
with,
Yeah, I think so
with Kellen,
too.
who y'all might be familiar with. He does a lot of cool audio breakdowns on Reddit and stuff. But I talk to him a lot more frequently now, and it's crazy how much stuff they pay attention to. They'll be like, hey, like this effect actually
I give them
sounds
points
too
for
high pitched. The
trying
the
something
laser
new.
should be
I just
slightly
think it's gonna
lower
be a little
pitched for
big.
this and this and this reason. Like
I
stuff
said,
that
I'll
I would
play it
never
and
think
see.
about.
All the details that go into it,
Yeah.
especially like
I'm definitely
baking
not
in
spending
some of the
$60
like
on it, I can
original
tell you that right now.
Medusa sounds as well into it, so
I'm
that even though she
definitely not
looks so
spending
different,
$60 on
you'll
it.
definitely
They're
hear
crazy.
a little bit of callback to all those OG sounds.
That specifically helps a lot for like gameplay and reactions when you don't know like who's nearby you. Those bass like sound.
Hey,
effects
who knows? Maybe I'll get lucky and they'll
helps
give me a code to
keep
give
that,
away
you
to
know,
you guys
bass.
for one of these
Yeah,
skins,
it keeps
right?
it from being like being like who even is
I'll keep
that?
my-
I
I'll
don't
keep
know.
my
like,
eye out.
That way, you know, if you've played the game before, you can recognize. Okay, like I hear that noise. She's
Would be
ulted,
one.
you know.
Wouldn't be one
So
I'd buy.
it's
Yeah, I
just
don't think
the
I'd
amount
buy
of
it
work,
either.
and that's just an example for
Now, if they
audio
gave me codes to
specifically.
give
There are
away, that'd
examples
be a whole
like
different
that
story, right?
Across every single
But
form of creative process that
I
goes
will
into
not pay
creating the
$60
final
for
product.
that. No
So
way.
it's, again, I am always in awe and will always send mass respect to our team members who just pour their heart and soul into all of their work. Dude, she looks right at home.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. This hair is sick.
Awesome, awesome. Well, and that, again, that is the T5 for this skin. This will be the final reward, so as you go through and get a bunch of different cosmetics, whether it's direct purchase or rolling
Berlin
chest
skin
or
they
whatever,
have?
eventually
Which
you will
one?
unlock this, or you hit the buy all button and get it right up front. And actually, something I didn't say earlier, because I thought it'd be fun to say here, is the T5 skin you can get, if you so choose, by getting to that final reward, when in fact, there are other options.
Oh, the Loki
part
one,
of
yeah, yeah.
celebrating
I
this
didn't know that was
Odyssey is
Merlin.
celebrating 10 years of
That
Smite.
goes to
It's
show you how
celebrating
my
the
brain's
season of
fried, man. I've
Celebration.
been watching this too
So
long.
as you get to this final
Been
T5
2 hours,
reward,
dude.
you can choose the Medusa skin you just witnessed, and you'll have an awesome Medusa skin. But you can also choose, you can also choose an older T5. We have a selection of old Odyssey T5 skins that you can choose at the end of this Odyssey instead of the Medusa one if you'd so prefer. So if you're not exactly a Medusa player, then you know maybe you choose Baron's T5 or
Very cool.
Yeah, there'll be an
Ares
option
T5
of
is really nice,
different
dude.
T5s available to you there. So not every T5 ever.
Yeah,
but
if they have
you know,
Ares
there's
T5,
still a
that might
choice
tempt
so
me.
that
If
you
I
can
remember
really-
correctly,
you
I
can
think he
choose
had a
exactly
really
what
nice
you
one.
want and celebrate 10 years of Smite and some of these Odysseys we've
The
had in the
Anubis
past.
one
So
wasn't too
I
bad
think that's really
either.
cool just because,
That's awesome.
yeah, you know, like I love Medusa, so that's going to be what I'm shooting for. But you know, if that's not your cup of tea, then there are other options because we want you to be able to get what you want the most out of it. So. And again, this will be
Eclipse Summoner?
releasing next Tuesday along with everything you've just seen. But I think that's it. I think we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
We talked about
Dude,
it. Like, it's always
that's
especially for these
heartbreaking. I
big
thought they were
updates,
gonna
you know,
take
there's
out
always
that
so much
bonus
we get to get
from that
into
arena, dude.
You know, you get to the end, you're like, oh man, like we finally got to share all this stuff.
Yeah, the amount of like work and apprehension from all teams to just like get to today and like today's release, like all right, we did it.
We did it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go after
We
this.
also can celebrate.
Oh yeah, like the season of celebrating at my desk after this kicks off in about 5 minutes. The season of celebration season kicks off on Tuesday. So super cool. And again, thanks for coming out. PTS should be going up hopefully pretty soon. As always, keep your eye on the
And Dev
socials.
Insights.
What's that? Oh yeah, Dev Insights. That's going to be tomorrow. So
Yeah.
keep your eyes out because I'm sure y'all have questions. I mean, we went over a bunch.
No
of
questions.
Stuff. Yeah.
You get no answers.
Imagine a world where you sit down and on Twitter or on Twitch, everybody's like, "No, y'all did good. Like, see you next
Hey.
week." Like,
If only.
if
Yeah,
only.
it sounds like a great world.
You can cry offset. But no, so that'll be tomorrow at 3, so make sure to come and ask your questions, you know, look over everything. And again, we'll have notes up as soon as we can. Sorry that they are delayed. It's just completely out of our control. We were looking at the site. It said, "Hey, this site doesn't exist right now," and we were, you know, it's one of those.
Pretty sure it should.
Yeah, just
You gotta pay
but,
the bills, man.
We'll
You
have
gotta
that
pay
up
the
as soon as we
bills.
can. But otherwise, I mean, it's a little fun, right? You learn some stuff here, get in the game in PTS, and figure it out.
Yeah,
It'll be
try it
fun.
out. Let us
Yeah.
know what you think. We're
Look,
very
it looks
excited
fun.
to see some PTS gameplay as well. And
Yep.
excited to hear what y'all think.
Get cooking.
Get cooking.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining me. It's been a
Absolutely.
wonderful show, and I look forward to seeing y'all again next time. Later, everyone.
Bye.
All right, dude. So that's pretty much all the updates. I tell you what, man. I mean, yeah, they added more CC to Arena, so that's never a good thing. That Raki one seems like it's going to be very deadly, dude. I'm very interested to see how that's going to check out. More like PTSD. Yeah, we're going to have PTSD playing with all that garbage CC, dude. That's just craziness. But I mean, it is what it is. We'll wait and see how that turns out. I think PTS is probably going to go live Friday. They usually do that. So that means that all these changes will go into effect this upcoming Tuesday. So next Tuesday's stream, which we'll be streaming on Twitch again, right? So next Tuesday's stream, we'll be actually, you know, testing out these updates live, so that should be very interesting. Maybe I'll have an Arachne build ready to test out then. We'll see. But yeah, dude, what do you guys think? I think they're getting lazy with some of these skins, man. Now that one Joker looking skin, somebody said it was from Merlin. That one looked pretty cool. It gave me a Loki vibe, but some of the other ones, I was like, yeah, they need to pay their people more. They're getting a little lax. But anyway, dude, I don't want to drag this on. Hey, babe, appreciate everybody coming out. And if you're just seeing us today, the reason that we're streaming on YouTube today, right? If you haven't heard already, is I was been working on a project for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, right? Where I was programming to be able to use GGC's Reaper viewer points system like you have on Twitch, right? So you get viewer points for watching, and then you can do all those cool memes like you saw. I now have that for YouTube. We just tested it today, as you saw, and it worked out beautifully. Now it's at 85-90% finished. It's not completely done, but that's what we were testing today. So if you hit exclamation point and the board points, you'll see how many points you got today. So all you got to do, let me put it in here just for people that probably have me muted or something. All you just put exclamation points like that. And it's going to tell me I don't have any because since I'm the host, I can't get points. But that's what you type in there, and it'll tell you how many points that you got, right? Yeah. So there you go. You got 1,000, you got 200. Now, who was that? Lovern? But Lovern talked too. So see, I'm going to have to see how that works because you're supposed, and that's the thing with this new system, right? These point system is not a third party type system. So these points are not from YouTube. These points are not, that's something that's on my computer. That's when we're doing these YouTube streams, my computer is scanning to the chat to see who's talking, right? So if you're new to chatting, if you never chatted before, you have to at least say hi to start getting points. So as soon as you say something in the chat, you'll get 1,000 points, right? And then from there, every 10 minutes, the computer's searching the chat, right? So as long as you talk once every 10 minutes, you'll get an extra 20 points. And it'll do that, 20 points, 20 points, 20 points. But I saw that Lovern did talk through the chat, and he only has 1,000 points. So I'm going to have to see how that works. I'm going to have to see, or old school also. So like I said, I still got to tweak it. But yeah, so that's something new, man. Now the codes to use for this is in the description of this stream right here. It is a laundry list, dude, of stuff that you can do, right? So, I mean, you can do like anything. I mean, you can do something like if you do exclamation point, I don't know, dude, and say GG. And then it'll bring it up. GG, peeps. GG. There you go. So that's a good example right there, right? So that's what we were. That's why people were wondering why we're streaming on YouTube today. That's why, because usually when I do these update streams is when I have the least amount of people watching, because most people don't give a crap about update streams. So I figured that this would be a cool way of me alpha testing this project I've been working on, right? So yeah, so that's what it is. Now with that, this is going to allow me, once I finish out, to do a lot of cool stuff, right? So there's a lot of more to come on this. Now, somebody asked me today, does that mean we're not going to be streaming on Twitch no more? No, not yet, right? So we're still going to be streaming on Twitch. If anything, what I'll do is I'll add another stream day. So we stream every Tuesday on Twitch. Maybe I'll add like a Thursday because I can't multi-stream. I have a contract with Twitch where I can only stream on Twitch or only stream on something else. I can't do two at a time, right? So maybe I'll add a Thursday YouTube stream where I can test all these new things I'm trying to add. And for some reason, if the YouTube numbers are equal to or more than Twitch, then in the future, we might transition back to YouTube because it's just financially better on me. You know what I'm saying? Because Twitch is taking 50% cut of all the money I make. And trust me, our channel does not make that much money. You know what I'm saying? Whereas YouTube only takes 30%, right? So it's like getting a 20% raise. So that's what it is. I figured with all the Amazon, primes and all that we would pull more from Twitch. But between the Smite dying slowly but surely and less interest in the game, Twitch has not been as beneficial than had I just stayed on YouTube, right? But having these viewer point system on Twitch is why I like being on Twitch, because it makes the streams more fun. It gives y'all control to add some really funny moments, you know what I'm saying, when we're playing the game. And now that I'm almost able to do that on YouTube, is going to be really cool. But anyway, again, don't forget, we're going to be streaming Tuesday, 11:30 Eastern Time, back on Twitch. And for some reason, I throw in another stream day between now and then. Just, you know, keep an eye out to our Discord or x.com, aka Twitter, and our community board. Again, appreciate everybody hanging out with us. I'm Dark Garza, Yo GC. We'll see you guys next time.